master of the religion who they say God bless
my
you.
major concern now is that Khan is giving the impression that the government is trying to shut Christians, from preaching the word, and looking at the Christian genocide that's happening. It just looks like it's playing all together, to cripple and, shut up, the voice of Christians, the voices of Christians. But I'm really not seeing it that way. I'm not really seeing it that way. I feel on buses, we shouldn't have people preaching on buses. I feel, buses, the driver, in as much as Nigeria, we are used to the lousiness and, we still thrive in things like that. In a sane society, a bus is supposed to be a quiet place so the driver can concentrate and get you to your destination. And even if you are conversing or talking to someone, it should be in an orderly manner. But if you have been in some buses, you will see that some of these preachers, they are very loud, and it could be distracting. You want to pick a call or make a call, you almost would not be able to, because you look like you're a pagan or maybe you're an antichrist. And if the person sitting next to you is so loud, and in that very space and time, you're not in the mood for such conversation or such message, and you try, if you can't even bother, you can't even stop the person, because if you do, then that means you're an antichrist, you're from the pit of hell. So I feel it is not a bad thing, in as much as it is important that people get the message of salvation. But I think buses, looking at how sensitive the road could be, I don't think it's a bad thing for it to be stopped, even if the Southwest are not comfortable with this and they want it, to be quashed.
Nigeria is a complex society. You are talking about Christianity. We have Muslims, we have atheists, we have other people who believe in other exotic religions, and they all sit in this space. This is what we keep talking about on Signature TV. If government want to take decision on issue that concerns all, let it be. Who pushed the bill? Who got so concerned and said, we want preaching in the bus stopped? Is it National Union of Road Transport Workers? Their concern is not that you're preaching in Molo. They are interested on MC Oluomo, who is the lifetime chairman and who becomes the next chairman of any park. They are not interested. As far as I'm concerned, the engine of Molo is enough noise, so even preaching dilutes it. It takes you away from the heat of it. So, who is concerned about preaching in the buses and hawking? Who? In a well-organized society like London, which most of our leaders, almost 100% of leaders in Nigeria must have tested London, US, because that's status symbol. Did they see this kind of thing in the trams, in the buses, in the public spaces? Is it not something that brings something? You beat somebody, you say you should not cry. Somebody has a manpower concocted in his village by his grandmother or by himself in one corner, and he finds somebody, because NAFDAC has somehow find the herbal concoctions that once you sort them out, they tell you can sell your own. Even herbal concoctions, you go into Molo, they tell you this one is NAFDAC recognized or approved or whatever. And they have cheap markets, people who still buy because the birds of the same feather flock together. This is a Nigeria of such complexity. My concern is government wakes up to pour down policy push it down the throat of the people. That's your concern. If you start this process and then over time you have what do you call appropriation of opinions coming from all the stakeholders, and the top on the list says ban this, you push it to the people, you say it is you that say this is a problem. Why wake up every morning, talk to the people without talking with them? And you say you are government of the people, for the people, by the people. That's total babadash. We are not getting it right. Because That's what my father said. The wood that you get from every town is what you use to cook in that town. You can't go to Oshogbo to get wood to come and cook in Enugu. Uncle Dinubi. Most of people are farmers. When you go to a farm, some people go as a family. The firewood they fetch from the farm is what they use to cook in that farm. Why is it different in Nigeria? That's my issue. If Nigerians believe, like our constitution said, we, the people of Nigeria, agree that preaching in the bus is our problem, for God's sake, to hell with it. Whoever, whether you're Christian, Muslim, pagan, atheist, exotic, stop preaching. But when it's coming without due process, it's marks of suspicion and distrust. It's like somebody is pushing envelope of something, and that's where we have issue. How will it take people to organize pools? In organized society, there are pools. You organize, government even have a way of organizing pools. And pools are a percentage of certain people, representing opinion. You use that at least. If you remove flair from a body of a dog without showing a dog, that's why we are here talking about this. If it is coming from Nigerians and they say this preaching is becoming noise pollution, these people are selling fake products and all, everybody will see the reason. What have they explained is the reason why they're doing this? Somebody wakes up, probably their big car spoiled somewhere and they jumped into a mall just to have one day experience, and it's like, hey, my car spoiled, I can't, from mall where to Mushi, noise, I'm thinking about my family, I'm thinking about this. The people who are used to it, enjoy it. Because you sit down, you're talking, you're not in the mood. Take out the number of people who are not in the mood. Who is in the mood in Nigeria? So when the mood is totally on negative side, you look for the nearest person to talk to. It's even sign of getting you out of depression, because if you get there, they leave you alone. Somebody might jump down from the mole and die. But when you are hearing that noise and there's someone movement in the vehicle, you begin to feel that you are still in this world. Because I say, is it idle mind is devil's work. So when you hear noise in Molwe and you have decided to enter Molwe, where life is on the move, no Molwe stops. It's not like you that stay in Enugu. How many preaching have you had in the bus in Enugu? If you hear, those ones enjoy it. Because the preaching in Molwe is not the same preaching in Enugu. Yeah. Every society decide how they want to. You might find somebody who in a very big, good knotted tie, with suit, coming to tell you, gentlemen, I don't worship poor God. And will you say, and they approach you the way you would like, and then you give you a track and tell you Jesus loves you, and then you say it's a disturbance. So who is pushing this? If the government did not make it clear who is pushing banning, and that's why you see Southwestern Can coming back to say, if it is general issue, Southwest Can would have put the opinion into it, and the opinion will be accommodated. When other opinions surpass their own, that's democracy, and the decision will be taken. Now I wake up one morning, somebody come, a girlfriend comes to visit a politician. He said, why are you late? You enter mall late to come out for a date. A politician gave you in a hotel, and then what the lady is that this noise was so much. Why are you looking sad? There was so much noise in the bus. They were preaching. He said, okay, you guys are preaching to disturb my girlfriend who enter mall late to come for a date in a hotel where I'm waiting. Bam! That's how I'm telling you. I'm using the smallest things to tell you how this ban came, and it's not going well with most of the people, because everybody has their opinion. But when we have an opinion in democracy, say the minority have their say, let the majority have their way. That is democracy, my understanding. You can tell me your understanding of democracy. Let's put it together and sieve out and have a balance, and we have a well-balanced democracy. Otherwise, we are deceiving ourselves as a country running democracy. If Atiku Obasanjo's renewed fight over bribery claim did not catch your attention, then Chris, it caught my attention.
It did actually.
Talk about it.
I didn't want to talk about it because
why?
The back and forth with Atiku and Obasanjo, it's just something, and these are all just.
But Atiku and Obasanjo are not the kind of persons in Nigeria who will appear in newspaper headlines,
Yes.
Tribune of all places,
Yes.
and we sit down here talking about newspaper review,
Yes.
and you say it does not desire attention.
No, it got to me. I saw it, right? It got to me, but I'm just wondering, the whole Kingsman taking advantage of the 2027 election, Obasanjo working in favor of his allies or people that he's supposed to, like, it doesn't work for me. Obasanjo has always been a man of his opinion, and that's one thing that's always stood out for me regarding him. He does not care about anybody's impression or opinion. If he's standing for someone, by someone, he stands with his whole heart, and he does not give a heck about your feelings. And if
adding to what you know about him, you also know that Babe Yabo can never forgive. So whoever
10, 20 years later, he will come for you.
He say when you say something to somebody, you who said it might forget, but the person you told, and that man will always remind you, especially when you burn a bridge, or when you are walking, you offend somebody, and suddenly that person, you find the person face to face in a one-legged bridge, just a bridge where only one person will pass, and you face you headlong. After so many years of you did something so bad to that person, the person felt, I won't forgive. And maybe you have an advantage that time, you want to run away. When the person meets you face to face and one-legged bridge, what do you think will happen? That's what is playing out here. So still tell us about Obasanjo, I'm enjoying it.
So if Obasanjo, has his allies, people that he's working with, and then Atiku feels like he's sabotaging his plans for the 2027 election, I think that's their beef. And they have to just look for a way to sort themselves out.
When you've been a vice president, this person has been the president and been commander-in-chief and chief army commander of Nigeria, the president or the army head of Nigeria one time. So somebody who has been 2 times there, and one time you were his vice. If you are looking for a referee to sign a paper for you to get another job, or probably you think you want to be Nigerian president, and you say, go and ask my Oga, your Oga will give you a referee. The referee from Oga, I've known this Chris Hilary. He worked with me on Signature TV newspaper review for 5 years. I know he's a man of character, and you can work with him. That's me, I will sign. Chris Chibuzo Maduka. That's a referee. Where does he come and become an anathema? That your boss says, you are not good. You did this sometime. And I think that does not qualify you for whatever position you're seeking. What other testimonial do you need than the referee? So is it because he's coming? Obasanjo has been Oga of Atiku. So anything he says about his deputy, who was vice president, it's not something you walk over and they want to swallow in a... Is Obasanjo contesting for presidency of Nigeria again with you? And if he feels that there's something you did that also will bear on you being a president of Nigeria at any time, he brings it out now that you want to go back to that position. And you say he's giving advantage. Whatever advantage that gives, you better go sort that. Because that's what happens in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerian politicians have very bad backlog of records and nobody wants to talk about. Because once you say it, it's like, hey, you don't want them to enjoy the highest position. And that's where we are. How do we question the credibility, the credentials of our political aspirants? Who give them clean bill of, who says they can go? And when people keep quiet, it's like, but when people say, Chris, I said the way you're counting for the month to end, that's why I asked you, are you yet married? But I know maybe at the end of the month you give us invitation card. So when you walk the aisles and they say, whoever knows that Chris Larry will not take this woman as a wife, say it now or keep silent forever. And nobody said it. Whenever I say it, Nigerian men will always look back in the church to know whether woman will stand up. And if the church will do and then they keep quiet. And the man will say, thank God. And the priest will join them. Now, if Obasanjo now says, one and say, I want to be president. So many people want to be president. Peter Obi want to be president. Jagaban himself want to return. Many other people want to get there. And this is a statesman of no small stature. And he come up and say, this person can go, this person had a bribery luggage to clear, this person. It's Atiku clearing that, and how he succeed in clearing that will come to be. I don't see anybody being given. If he's giving his kinsmen, then Obasanjo, in his, like you said, is a man of his word, would have come out long time and then give us a bill to Jagaban. After all, from my indication, that should be his kinsman. Who else in this race that is Obasanjo's kinsman?
You know,
there is a confusion.
This conversation just reminds me of what we discussed some time ago about the recruitment process for these political holders, you know, public office holders. Because if you already have a record, something that indicts you in a way, and that it has not been sorted out, are you still supposed to be nominated? Looking at the complications, you know, looking at repeating history. Why do we still do that? And that's what we're experiencing right now with politicians. You know, people that are coming to take different positions, and you still have people still giving them, you know, the thumbs up to still apply and get into those political offices, knowing full well that they had a history that has not been cleared. We talk about certification. Some of them, there are still forgery cases here and there, and we still have something like that. We also talk about maybe corruption history that they had. What has been solved? Have you gone to the court to make sure that that was cleared off? We didn't have something like that. Different cases here and there.
During that recruitment process in Nigeria, they, in politics, Nigeria style, when you talk about person coming out, is money, then money to the third degree. That finishes at the primary. After all, nobody raises any issue of whether bribery at the ADC, as ADC gave a clean bill for Atiku to be the flag bearer. Then it's after those money to the third level. Then the question is, the person start coming in. And that's what Obasanjo has. No matter how everybody looks at it, Obasanjo is saying, I want to know, because normally he writes letter. But this one, he came out openly to say, this man bribed Naba to do something, and he was clear about it. So it's left for Atiku, because we're not saying it's written on marble. It's left for Atiku to clear the air, because the way Atiku is going about it and his group, it means what he called the reverse psychology that my wife used on. You can come back. My wife said, "Are you sure you're coming from the office? When did the job close?" You start shouting, this woman did it. The woman, I know. When you come into offense, that's why you want to close my mouth. But if you come down and say, darling, it was hectic. They hold up at Ababa. And I moved on, and then please, I'm tired. Please, just accept. I didn't go anywhere. But when you start shouting, every time you suspect, the woman will look at you. Women know how to do. The way they are talking about the same thing. Somebody say you have bribery, okay, he's fighting, he killed him, is he giving this? Why not tell the story? Your own. Clear it. Let's go. Whatever you say, this man has spoken. And majority of people who believe in what he says will believe this. If you do not convince them, it is minus for you.
This reminds me of a case with Golo Jonathan, where the court said that he was not eligible to come back next for presidency. And somehow he went back to the court and made sure that he quashed that. Because he won the case, because he didn't want anything pending on him. Even if we want to believe that he does not even have it in mind to come back. But a case that you've not cleared, somehow you're partially guilty of it.
Exactly.
So,
and then for a big man to always wait for when the is so long. Some even people who we witnessed in the case to have died, and they come up to talk to us or write your memo. That's also an element of political deception for Nigeria. If anything happened immediately, let's talk about it then. Let's not leave these luggages and talk about it later. Of course, the article's claim is that Gali Naba is long dead, that is now using a dead man to, all those kind of maneuver. It doesn't make sense. If Obasanjo was so sure that Atiku did this sometime, when Naba was around, if you had raised it up, Naba would have also said whether it's true or not. But I know a lot of people are still alive who walk through that and who know the fact. But because two elephants are fighting, then we better stay clear because you don't know where the elephant talks might go and then carry you and throw you away. And that's
All right. So let's look at the
U.S.
next.
expresses concern over continued Middle Belt killing. That's concern of U.S. over
Okay,
Nigeria.
US. Okay, yes,
coming.
yes,
Page
yes,
4
yes.
on
But
the-
just recently, the same US, according to the president, said that Donald Trump was, commending and applauding,
Did
the
you hear that?
administration.
Did you hear that in the newspaper again? We are talking about one newspaper.
I know.
Because
I know.
Boala said something and people were saying it was US gave us clip bill. When the counter came yesterday when we were doing newspaper review, didn't you see what happened? What Ted Cross said and some other people said that it was an old letter that had been, in the name of cleaning up that it was brought up and then everybody kept quiet. That will tell you the desperation about politicians to do certain things. But one thing about telling one lie, my father said, if you tell a lie, they catch you, apologize and accept. In effort to cover one lie, you'll be forced to manufacture 20 more lies. And those lies will be heaping on your head. And then it's like, if you say, this is a mistake or somebody, and they use the one scapegoat who said that it is, and the presidency will know what to do. But instead of in a digital world like this, when what we are seeing here, before we even review it for Nigeria as newspaper headlines,
all over the place.
all the world have read it and made their opinions.
Yes.
What they're waiting for you is how will Nigeria react to it? And you react to it with like this usual Nigeria then you are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Digital age, Nigeria cannot tell the world to stop so that they will jump out because the buzz of digital age is moving too fast. No, we are in it to. We rather learn how to live in Lagos or fast movement to whether they are preaching in the buses or not. That's what the mole of the world is telling Nigeria on the fast lane of digital life. Is it that you agree or not agree? Because no world can stop for Nigeria, whether Nigerian politicians agree or not. The facts will remain there. And the more you are trying to, the more they are bringing up more facts, more facts.
Yeah.
Chris, if you want to know how bad this is, type Chris Lere on a Google. You will see what you don't believe in this life. The day I tried it, he brought me, humbled me, and I said, "Hi, I have to be careful." The world know even the smallest person living on this earth. As far as you have this word and you have clicked somewhere before, hey, the world has recorded you. If you call that mark of the beast, well, that will be it. So I don't know what next we do before.
Okay,
our time
before we go off, can we just go through all the papers as much as we can?
Just quickly
run
rush
through them. So the next one we have here is the Vanguard newspaper, Saturday Vanguard. Peter Obi, you can change Nigeria in 4 years. A writer says, I'm committed to one term, can even sign legally binding affidavit. Okay, another story that says, US hits Nigeria, 7 African countries with 12.5% tariff over forced labor claims. Budget experts fold NAS over Musk's church palace funding, link it to 2027 polls. Kwara, state government builds 1,600 housing units for residents, smart city to accommodate 540,000. Okay. Fake agency originated from Buhari government. A budget office explains how PFIPC was allocated money. Terrorism, why military faces tough challenges in North. You can find that on page 10. And rather says safe havens, support networks, make rescue mission difficult. That's coming from General Musa. And Abacha didn't die in bed with a woman. I take that again. No, Abacha didn't die in bed with a woman. Okay, that's coming from Amakri, misrepresented how he died. Okay.
Governor Mba reacts to runway as incident
yeah.
of ENUGU Air. That's
says
interesting.
safety non-negotiable. Okay.
From what the chairman told us, and a viral video that's going viral.
Yes.
He said the ENUGU Air went on a runway excursion.
Yeah.
And then they said, take me not in such excursion, ENUGU Air. I want the excursion to Government House where you take me around, show me where Governor Mba is his office, and they have opportunity of having a handshake with Governor Mba, take me to Enugu Airport, show me the runways. But don't put me into Enugu Air to take me into a runway excursion because I have a very soft heart. My heart might not accommodate such hard excursion that one part of the aircraft got broken. I mean, one of the legs, that will tell you because you're going to this. And I was telling somebody that aircraft would have hit the town if it's not the swampy area. They say the chairman said such areas around airport are meant to be a trap for an airplane that want to go on such excursion. And this Enugu Air was an example because if you see, he went in there and half of the plane was buried in a soft grassy marsh. Yeah. And that was actually what stopped because that, the force by which this aeroplane was going on excursion was what had made I think you should do the right, if you're looking from the back, then the right leg or the tire, that thing that holds the engine up, the right from the back, was on the ground. And that viral video will tell you how the trauma, if you see the noise, some people who were waiting for their relations at the airports, and they would have called you, Chris, I am coming with Enugu Air, and then in a few minutes I will be landing. And then when we sight anywhere, you would like, hey, mommy, daddy is coming, our friend is landing very soon, in 5 minutes. Then suddenly, the aircraft touched ground, and you are waiting for the announcer, of course, those people in their language, Enugu Air flight 1102.1 has just touched ground and landed. And those things you'll be hearing. Suddenly, you'll be looking for the thing to stop. It now started a fresh move on excursion. And then excursion to where? To Oba's Palace. And then saw the march stopped it. Because from Airport Road to Oba's Palace and all the adjacent GRA, if you know Benin well, it's not very far. So for that thing that has put up, we thank God. Because
all the passengers
the excursion the discussion
it wasn't a planned discussion.
What the aeroplane is a plan to take this one was on a force excursion. You said you have landed Benin, but I need to take you inside Benin to go and see how Benin is, so that.
But according to the Enugu chairman, air chairman, he said that it could happen to any air flights. It's not like it's more, it's like a car accident. Regardless the company or the logistics company carrying a particular car, particular people to an area. Accident is accident. It could happen to anyone. So it is also important that people don't get scared and stop patronizing Enugu Air because it could happen to anyone. Yeah, but if you look at the viral video, if you check us out on our YouTube, you see a video where the Enugu chairman made a statement regarding this. The video has gone viral. The comment section, people are saying things. One of the comments I saw in the session there was that Nigeria and poor maintenance habits. Nigerians don't have the habit of taking care of their things and maintaining their things. I don't want to believe that has anything to do with that.
I think like you said, Chris, this is an accident.
Yeah.
And do you know why we are taking it the human angle, trying to water it down? It's what the Almighty God has done for Enugu Air. For a very new air company that are trying to find their ground to consolidate, if it has gone beyond this, it will be very difficult for them to have survived. So we give glory to God. Yeah. And the governor himself has also reacted to it and said security and safety of all the passengers is non-negotiable. Yeah. And even people working with him have said he meant what he said. The chairman, Mr. Engineer Richard Aguzie, a lawyer, has said that the company is going to have what is called comprehensive investigation, which also the air sector is trying to help them. They say they have a consolidated investigation coming from the people who are in that sector, and they have a lot of experienced personnel working with them. So when they put it all together, there's a parable my father always said. It's always better for the neck to hit the ground, but let it not break. So that you will know that at least once in a while, this neck can even turn upside down and hit the ground. So you have some strength that you are, but let it not break. That's where the prayer. So like this has happened, it is going to serve as a lot of inspiration for the Enugu Air to take what you call adequate measures to make sure it does not happen. It can happen to anywhere.
Yeah.
Such excursion, you know. you know what
It's
happened?
inevitable.
The professional word they use for it is where I'm trying to make it so that bring it down the heart of the people. And let's say we need to thank God.
Yeah.
Because whenever God does wonderful thing for Nigeria, people, if you look at that aircraft, it's not carrying anything less than 172 people. You know, just putting away the
I think this is something 68.
And so when you know that like them, Nigeria couldn't have survived when you say we are having of people still in bandit and terrorist camps. We have hunger and hardship. We have the health sector personnel. 80% of them already built to travel out of Nigeria. And 60,000 of them are already out. And we have dealing with less than 50,000 to look after 450 million people already here. We have high tariffs. We have challenges here and there. We have some unmitigated accidents will still happening within and all that. People are dropping dead. People are losing their senses because they can't fathom how they're going to survive in this hard economy. And then you can imagine if we had heard that an air mishap has happened in Nigeria. So we thank God immensely. From Signature TV and family, we say God has done great things for us, and we give Him glory. Let's not politicize it on.
No.
Because of course many airlines have had such mishap, even international ones, and people still fly. My father said, "Ade Jimbabu our log." You cannot, because they are going to kill people in a battle. You won't go to battle. You have to go to fight. Somebody must be killed. So, but that's how it is with air flight. Let's look at where you are in an aeroplane and is airborne. And you are there in economic class. Some people are in first class. Some people are in the middle class. Whatever, even if you are there with what they call the toilet avenue in aircraft, that's those last seats to the toilet. Even if it's where you are sitting, if anything happens, whether the one in air class, first class A, because you can even, Nigeria has a way of having first class A, first class B, C, before you get to middle and the economy and all. So if it happens, so it's only when you are airborne and you know how great this God can be. So we thank God on behalf of our ENUGU Air, and we thank God for what He has done. So we won't want to go into fake agencies.
So we're going to
whether it originated from Buhari or
we're going to wrap up on the newspaper review this morning. Yeah. It's been such an amazing time. We have a conversation coming up shortly that we had with Bartholomew Naji.
Yeah. The Onwa
himself. Yes.
We enjoyed ourselves talking with such a wonderful human being, and we took away a lot of things. And you just what is called scratch the surface. We just want to give them a tip of it, because Signature TV is going to package that interview in a good way, and the world will see it in a special way.
Yeah, of course. So you're going to have a beautiful session to watch the interview and see how it went. Just recently had his birthday, and the likes of Obasanjo, Peter Obi, and different great minds were around.
Then the Governor Ba.
Oh, Governor Ba.
Governor was there.
Yes, was there. Governor Ba of ENUGU State was there as well to celebrate him. It was a great time. So just take a watch, enjoy this interview. Please don't go nowhere.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events.
He is a Nigerian scientist, innovator, and one of the inventors of e-design concepts. He served as the Minister of Science and Technology in 1993, and also he served as the Minister of Power under the administration of Goodluck Jonathan. He has served in different capacities, respected and acknowledged, recognized globally. This and lots more. But then, this conversation is going to reveal a lot about him. It's going to be discovering, innovating, and of course informative. My name is Christopher Lele, and with me is my colleagues, from the Signature Morning Show. I have on my left. My name is Christian Chibuzo Monica, and welcome with us to the topic online today.
My name is Dr. Ginger. Of course, it's always pleasant to meet someone. Prof, we'll go right to July.
Just in case you go on that says the defining chapter of your life is not that you left and succeeded, but you returned. So I didn't return.
Thank you very much for having me here. I think any Nigerian who means well for himself and for people would go and come back. Because the value of whatever you may have achieved is not going to be experienced by you being there.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
What I'm trying to say is that beyond the question of justice delivery, we should also know the issue of speedy adjudication of cases. You may be shocked to know that there are some cases pending at the Supreme Court, cases that were filed as late as 1985, 1980, that are still pending in court as I speak. Apart from cases that are time-bound, most especially election petitions, you discover that many conventional civil and criminal cases do suffer undue delays. And these delays that cases suffer are caused by multifaceted factors. So if my Lord can put in place, while exercising her powers, let me say his, because we don't refer to them as using the feminine description. If my Lord can exercise his powers as the Chief Justice of Nigeria to put in place proactive policies that will help ensure that at least there is improvement in the manner in which cases are handled in our courts, especially the appellate courts, it will be a very wonderful legacy.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
I think it's a good step. Number one, the older people grow, the more experience they have. Am I right? And the more you dwell on a particular profession, the more expertise or skillful you become. So even 65 is okay, but if we can have people of 70 years that can still be brought back into service that are active, I think is a good one. Because abroad, they employ old people that are skillful and are specialized in some field. So 65 is nice, but it could be better.
I don't see anything wrong about it because with my perception of that profession, doctor, I believe it's an experienced profession. Okay, so if I walk up to any of the hospital, could be private hospital, could be general hospital, and I felt the doctor attending to me is of age, I feel there should be an experience in him. Okay, because it's something that he has done for several years, practiced for several years. With that, I'll be able to have confidence in them. Like now, I had a fracture on my leg. So when I walk up when I was amending my leg, and the younger doctor were coming around, but I wasn't having the confidence. But when the surgeon came in, I saw it's an elderly. I said, oh, for such an elderly person to be in this field, he would operate my leg with, experience. And I had a very good confidence about that. So I think that is a good one.
It's a good idea because based on the unemployment I have, we have more youth that are finishing their NYSC, there's no job, lack of employment, and the rest of it. If they increase the doctors, I am not going against it fully, but the thing is they need to look at the other generation that is coming. So if they increase their retirement age, what provision the government made for the upcoming doctor that is coming? So is there any job for them and all this we need to look at it.
Nice indeed. Nice. Because one of these days I saw something in YouTube. A doctor want to undergo some operation like that, and he was watching a YouTube tutorial before he undergo that kind of a thing. They are quite those of these days. But if we can use that old brain, and if they have that that old knowledge that they can treat and get it right, I think it's better. It's better like that. I like it that way. You get me right? Yeah, it's okay. I'm in support in that. Very, very support. I have that full confidence that those old men will do better than the younger ones because they are no longer studying. How can you go on YouTube before you undergo a process like that? So I'm in support.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Welcome. Thanks for staying with us. We apologized for that interview, the conversation we had with Bartholomew. We had a technical challenge, so we had to take it off. But by God's grace, hopefully we'll bring it up subsequently as time goes by. But now we'll be having a look at one of the conversations we had with a prominent musician that has used music as a piece of, sorting out the challenges the nation is experiencing, bringing about peace with the people. Please, let's take a watch.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket. Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
Welcome back. Most of the times in Nigeria, we expect politicians and people in high position of authority to take the lead of changing what is wrong about our country. But we, over the time, have found some people who have become pathfinders and lead as activists, using their art to do, to advocate for better Nigeria. One of them is somebody who's going to be our guest this morning, talking about Zaki Aze. Zaki Aze is a pioneer hip-hop musician in Nigeria who started his career in 1993. He has successfully carved a niche for himself in the Nigerian music scene. And you remember one of the songs, he says, do not agree for anybody. That's very important. And the thing reigned over time where you start viral video of people saying, do not agree for anybody, not agree for anybody. This morning, we are glad to welcome Zaki Aze on the Zoom on Signature New Day. You are welcome, Zaki.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. We can see you. Don't worry.
Good morning.
Our eyes are seeing you, Zaki. You are welcome. We are glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I know that you have more like a covenant, with the torchlight and all of that. But for many Nigerians that are wondering what brought about the torchlight, which is very unique. I don't think I've seen anything close to that with any popular artist. What brought about it, and why are you still practicing that?
Well, I've said it several times. As of the time that I was starting my music career, there was no hip hop in Nigeria. I pioneered hip hop, or one of the pioneers. If you remember, we had Sound on Sound. They reigned for a while, but the hip hop music didn't really catch, and eventually people went back to reggae, dancehall, and all that. So as of the time I came, I was doing hip hop, and it was risky. The first challenge was no recording label will even take me in at that time. Eventually, I was able to get EMI. And it was risky. Would hip hop sell? Would hip hop not sell? So it was a dangerous venture. I opted to praying. So whilst I was praying, the security man at Kling Studio then in Surulere, Surulere, yeah, had his torchlight on the floor. So I me succeed, make me famous, make me rich, and I promise you I will never derail. My music will not be vulgar. I will constantly and permanently acknowledge you all the days of my life in all my ways. And you said we are the light of the world and the salt of the earth. With this torchlight, I am making a covenant with all these things I have said, never to derail and constantly acknowledge you in all my ways. So that's the personal covenant I had with God with the torchlighting. That's why no matter what, any Zaki you see without torchlight is just the fake one.
Interesting.
So that's the story.
Zaki, you are an indigenous of Benue State. You are born and brought up in Kaduna, so you have been shuttling around Nigeria. And with the torchlight, you made covenant to God. We weren't expecting that when you point that torchlight, you will see what people do not see. And see the evil. You're not into vulgar things and of this generation. You want to change this
No.
society. That's part of the topic
Yeah.
we brought here. What have you done to move the envelope of insecurity, of killings in your state, Benue, to come to light? And what are the advocacy
Well,
you are leading to do that?
Well, I have, if you check my career from the beginning, when it was Kaduna, I did a popular song, where yo, Kaduna. I've always been advocating for peace. I've always been warning ahead of time of these insecurity issues, why we should live together, peace. I think I can boast to say I am arguably the only Nigerian artist who have done more songs on peace and unity than any other artist in Nigeria. If it is not so, bring the artist, name the artist, and let's see how many songs he has done on peace and unity. It's something that I know is the foundation in which all of us stand. In any country without peace, you see what is happening in Iran today and all that. Without peace, we will not be talking like this. So I have done a lot with Benue being my state. If I can do for every other part of Nigeria and Africa, talk less of my own state, I have been advocating for peace and unity. I've even been advocating for peace within our leaders in Benue. I have done songs with even other Benue artists like Rapizo, Udi Woods, on peace and unity in Benue State. I've done several songs in regards to Benue State, and I have constantly been talking about it. You know, songs go a long way, and apart from that, it should not end with just singing. Your posture, your lifestyle should also be advocating for peace. Everything about you should be about peace, because you have to also practice what you preach. You know, so I have often been saying that the entertainment industry is huge now. You know our position right now in the world. We are number one as far as entertainment is concerned, especially with music. So you can imagine if all these Nigerian musicians who are very prominent, doing well nationally and internationally, all come together and start advocating for peace. Every banditry, kidnapping, and all this evil you see will end within a month. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. That is why I also sometimes hold the government in the center responsible, because they can also initiate that with the entertainment industry. Everybody loves entertainment. Everybody is on the phone looking at one artist or one entertainer or the other. So you can imagine using the entertainment industry as medium to advocate for peace. You can imagine the government stepping in and calling on all Nigerian artists, especially our three kings. You understand? And all that. All this will change. Even the people who are committing these atrocities, even the Fulani bandits have Nigerian artists that they are great fans to. They speak Hausa, they speak Fulani, we have Fulani artists. In fact, I was planning to do a collab with a Fulani artist, although he's not even in Nigeria, understand, but he's Fulani. In regards to that, we are planning to do a song on peace, you know, so that Nigeria will finally find peace. And this, let's not mistake it, these insecurity issues we're having also has arguably been also traced to the Western influence. Nigeria being a country that has a lot of potentials or a lot of raw materials, like they call us. I just wish that Africa and Nigeria particularly, that is the biggest black nation, will wake up and own its responsibilities to lead the independence of Africa, because it's obvious now to us that we are being used, and there's a negative influence from the Western world to making sure that we don't unite. If Nigeria unites, the whole of Africa will unite. If Nigeria coughs, Africa will cough. So Nigeria is key. It's very important. That is why there are a lot of sponsors from everywhere to make sure that Nigeria is not united and continue to serve them as raw materials. But apart from that, we as Nigerians, if we don't unite ourselves, if we are not united in our home, how else can we ever be united? You know, it first has to start with we trying to put our house together. That is why I keep pleading to Nigerians, especially the followers. It's not only about the leaders. The followers, one, you will not get involved. You don't want to get involved in politics. You don't want to come in. Nobody's going to give it to you. You take it. Understand? But apart from that, they are always quick. Their contributions is insult. Once a leader does something or once there's something, you know, there are ways of which you can intelligently dress an issue and it will make a lot of impact. But just because you have a phone, all they do is insult you. They even discourage people who may be able to get the attention of the leaders when they speak. Such people are also sometimes discouraged from even speaking because they will be insulted, even if they are saying the right thing. So the followers, apart from the leaders, also have their own problem, which we need to address. Everybody needs to be focused right now on our leaders, because that's where our problem is. Our leaders. We must vote right. We must choose right. We must choose right. Vote and wait for your vote. They say, okay, we have been voting, it's not working. So if you have been voting and it's not counting, we want to leave it now. That means you have given up on Nigeria, on your future, on your family. Because whatever affects Nigeria affects everybody, including your family. It will come to that. So if we don't do things about what is going on now, it will increase. I remember a story. I will not forget this story. I was only 16 years old then. No, I was about 12 years old or 13 years old. And we're traveling. And the car parked, I think we had a flat tire or something. We're passing around the eastern states. I think I was traveling to Makurdi and they had to pass through the east. I can't remember what village particularly. As a child, I saw some cows like feeding in somebody's farm. And then I saw the woman, the owner of the farm, an Igbo lady, challenging this Fulani man that, wow, Aboki, this, she was complaining. I was there, I was watching it live when I was small. And the Fulani man responded by, Kai, drove the woman away. In fact, carried something, stoned her, and even like lifted his stick and chased the woman away. So why I'm narrating this story is you could see that this thing has started gradually. It started long time ago, but nobody was checkmating it. Nobody was looking at it. It was not given proper attention. That's why it's escalated to what it is today. And it will still even escalate more if we don't do something drastic about it. So I think the issues of insecurity is what concerns everybody. If you cannot do anything about it, there are two things everybody must do. Pray for Nigeria and give information. Once you see something, say something. That way you have contributed to peace, unity, and progress in Nigeria. It's one thing, go check my songs from the first time I started. From the first album, there's always a song on peace, unity, and progress of Nigeria, which is what also informs why I also started the program True Nigerians, Heroes of Our Time, to celebrate Nigerians who have done well and then encourage the ones coming behind,
Yeah.
to do the
Zach,
right thing.
you've made mention of your, of course, your background, in your day-to-day advocacy affair for Nigeria, bringing to light peace and what have you. Beyond entertainment, you've highly involved yourself in social advocacy. You once served as ambassador for human rights, the special marshal for the Federal Road Safety Corps, and then you are really known for trying to bring about unity and peace. But the question now is
Yes.
that other influencers, celebrities, how much are they playing in the role of, bringing about peace, advocating for unity, and just like you earlier mentioned, imagine a Fulani person that these bandits, in quotes, they are fans to. Imagine your mentor, the person you love, is telling you that this thing you're doing is wrong, it's hurting me, it's hurting your family, stop it. Do you know how far this can go? How much do you see our Nigerian celebrities, doing to call this to order?
I will score them. I'll score them maybe 20 over 100 because they are really not doing much in regards to that. Because, like I've said, music is so. You go to a concert, you see people crying. Some people pass out because of the love they have for their fans, their celebrities. I mean, the artists or the celebrity they love. People go to any. You can now imagine the power of the kind of strong influence they have on people, and this, even the cultists, the bandits, the kidnappers, when they want to celebrate, what do? They play the same music. You can now imagine them having a great fan, someone they really like, singing about peace and unity. It will go a long way. But I remember the Goodluck Jonathan's regime. Goodluck Jonathan used a lot of celebrities to campaign, and you saw the effect eventually. You saw the effect. I was one of those who campaigned for him. I was paid to do a song, and I did it well. And he went far, and he helped, seriously helped, for him to win election. That's the power of the entertainment industry. It's also the only industry that can wipe unemployment from the face of Nigeria. Yes, we have a lot of youths. I can guarantee you that 95% of Nigerian youths are interested in show business. They are interested. And there's a lot of money in the entertainment industry. I can tell you that for sure. I don't think even the oil industry has more money than the entertainment industry. It's just that our government are a little bit relaxed. Imagine what they have achieved without government support. You can now imagine government putting its weight now on the entertainment industry, putting the right people in the right place, not putting leaders by sentiment but by what's the word again? By merit. A lot of job creation, employment, banditry, all this evil in our society we reduce because it's the youths that they use to commit these things. It's the same youths. Old men cannot go and start committing. Check all the people you see on being arrested, being killed. They're all young people. They're all young people. So there's a lot music can do. It's just the government at the center are not seeing it in that form. They are more particular about, especially election, campaign, who gets this position, how much money I can keep for my family. What baffles me truly and sincerely about leaders and politicians, I don't understand. If you are driving a car and another car is in front of you and it falls into a big hole, a big gallop, the only normal thing for you to do is to avoid it because you are behind. But these politicians come and don't learn lessons from those who have been there before them, who embezzled money, who have spoiled their lineage, have destroyed their name. Right now, there are some leaders that you cannot even mention their names outside. They will insult you. Their families are even ashamed to answer their names. You know? And you get, by the grace of God, get to this position of leadership instead of living a good example, leading by example, doing the right thing so that posterity will remember you forever. Every time they mentioned your name, they say name is better than money. All the previous politicians who have accumulated, now they are dragging them. Some of them are in court every day. It's not even about the court every day. It's not even about them being in prison or they are destroying. They have killed their image. Their name is destroyed. Their generation destroyed. Because when they talk about your father or when they talk about your name, once they mention your name, people gossip behind you, people laugh at you. And tomorrow, if you go out for any political position, it will also affect you. So you see, there's all the monies they steal and put this country in the condition where it is. That is why, honestly, this is my personal opinion. I know I'll be crucified for this. But if you check the positions of leaders that we have had from the beginning of Nigeria up till now, you would agree with me that the Northerners have had more chances, but yet poverty is highest in the North. Can you explain that? So what are they doing? And then once there's another leader who is not from the North, they start running up and down. You know, they want to, they look for every, you understand? So Nigeria does not belong to anybody. All we want in Nigeria is not where you are coming from, but a good leader. That's as far as I'm concerned, a good leader. Without a good leader, the country will be destroyed. Once the country, ordinary flood, natural disaster like flood. When flood comes, does it ask you whether your father, you are Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo? He doesn't ask you that. That's how it is with war. That's how it is because Nigeria is virtually at war now. Almost in every state. In every state, people are being killed, kidnapped for ransom. You know, it's horrible. I think more. I know they are trying. The military, the armed forces of Nigeria, the police, and everybody are trying, but I don't think the government at the center is giving that enough attention. After all, we still have unemployment in Nigeria. What is the capacity of the Nigerian police? The entire staff of Nigerian police, how many are they? And you expect those limited or those small number of policemen to combat crime in Nigeria that is almost 300 million. What? Go to travel abroad and see. In every corner, you see a policeman, kitted, well equipped. In fact, by looking at the policeman, you'll be afraid to commit crime. So I think one of the things I am advocating for, especially in regards to Nigerian police, is that they should employ. There's unemployment, and the policemen are not enough to handle the situation. They are doing well, but you need capacity. They need to employ, if you ask me, maybe like 20,000 or 50,000 more men of police, Nigerian police. Because Nigeria is 300 million. So what's wrong with even employing 2 million or 5 million more policemen into the system? Because that's the only way. Well, yes, we can only continue to talk about this, but I really think, like the question you asked, if only entertainers would give more attention, especially Nigerian entertainers, just the same way we started music and we were battling with Nigerians. Then it was 95% Western music. Most stations, TV stations, radio stations like you don't even play Nigerian music. Then it was foreign music, Western music. We were struggling. And then what even helped us was Nigerians in diaspora. When the Mohits came to Nigeria with their expertise, they were living abroad. They are Nigerians. The Dibanch, Don Jazzy, the Banky W, Tiwa Savage, all these names I've mentioned were abroad doing music. By the time they came with their expertise and joined force with us, Nigerians were forced to accept Nigerian music. That is the breakthrough of the music industry in the entire Africa.
Yes.
Why Nigerian music is ruling.
Zaki, let me just add. You were once the president of PMAN,
Vice President,
and one time
yes.
you resigned. You have mentioned so many about unity. They were saying that united will move on, then divided will fall. With all the big names in Nigeria entertainment industry, what effort is being made now to gather them together, to put effort together to fight whatever evil that is. You just imagine a show where all the big names you are talking about come together to do a show to save Nigeria. You remember during the days of Michael Jackson and his producer, how they gathered the USA America or USA for Africa,
the world.
and
the world.
You know, and the boom, and what they use the outcome to do. Is their plan on the way to do so for Nigeria? Now that we have even world-class musicians and the people love them. From what you have said, if they come together to do a show like that, just to stop insecurity, mostly, what do you think will happen? And what are the plans to do such things?
You see, it has to be someone, an ombudsman or woman, or someone who has great influence. That's why I keep going back to the government that will be able to pull this set of artists together. Another way out is PMAN. If PMAN was not in crisis, if their house was together, you know, which is the same thing I keep talking about, leadership and even followers. People criticize, but when they give you one small leadership position, how do you handle it? And yet you are criticizing the leaders on top. You that is just a supervisor or a director or a head of department, how are you treating the people there? You know? So I think this has a lot to do with also our attitude, which still boils down to the country, because if you don't believe if your attitude does not inform you that you have to do certain things or make certain decisions that will contribute to building Nigeria as a nation where there will be peace and progress, then and that is what I meant when I said followers. That's why as I took it down to that level, I have also mentioned P-Man here now. You see, if, for instance, P-Man is in order, P-Man can now move, and that's why we encourage bills in the National Assembly. We pass bills in the National Assembly, and it's a body, it's a front that can interact with the government in regards to entertainment, in regards to issues that has to do with peace, unity, how the entertainment industry can also enhance peace, unity, and progress in Nigeria, but they are fighting. They are always fighting. Greed. We were doing very well in P-Man before. Once some money, we were able to get some money, instead of using the money properly to move forward and do the needful, greed came in and another fight. That is why I simply pulled out instead of spoiling my name. Like I said before, it's better to keep a good name than any fraudulent activity. So I think that what the question you have asked me, it has to come from, like the government, like the president. That
Zaki,
way,
thank you.
all the artists
Can you hear me?
would listen, will come together and do the needful. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. We are so behind time. Thank you so much for being a part of the program this month. We look forward to having you. We look forward to having you some other time. Learn more about the entertainment industry and what is happening with other artists. It's been a great time having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll be jumping
My
off for a short
apologies.
musical break from Zaki himself. Let's enjoy one of his pieces. We'll
Yes,
be right
it
back.
would be good if we enjoy one of his music to wrap it up.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Zaki.
Thank
we'll
you.
see you again next time.
All right.
All right.
To the Jaws, the Shekiris, Urobo, Ife, Mother Keke, Tif, Juku, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Yorubas, Igbos, Hausawa, Zango Kata, Nigerians and Africans in general. We beg you all, for the sake of God, for the sake of our children and our children's children, to please forgive and make peace. We want you all to remember that every time you kill, what you kill is your brother. What you kill is your sister, father, mother, and eventually. Star muna zamambu, to yanzu dai, karkashe juna muke dan dukanmu yan uwa ne. In sai ka rama, ni ma na rama, to karkashe juna muke dan dukanmu yan uwa ne. In ka kashe Igbo, karkashe juna muke. In ka kashe Yoruba, karkashe juna muke. In ka kashe Musulmi, karkashe juna muke. Ko ka kashe Kirista, karkashe juna muke. Ba zai so irin nan ba, Sadauna, ba zai so irin nan ba. Shugaban kasa, ba zai so irin nan ba. Ba zai so irin nan ba. Inna ta mutu, ya mutu. Gogo an kashe, yara sun mutu. Mama ta mutu. Wayo, Kaduna.
We are local.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket. Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Health is more.
We're going to take a look at what happened, on the Signature Morning from Monday through Friday. We call it the retrospect, where we bring back some of the major conversations we had that at some point you may have gotten so busy over the week and during the week actually, and somehow you may have missed out on those. Now, the reason for retrospect is to help you, bring back some of the conversations to you, to your doorstep, so you have an idea what we discussed Monday through Friday. So you just take a look, of course, sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation.
In most cities, public supply is probably less than 7%. So the communities are they are the ones that are self-providing to this point, and then the floods have come to threaten even their self-provision. So the question is, where do they go? If your private bowl, if it's overwhelmed by flood and it's contaminated, where do you go? What do you do? So that's where we need to look at it holistically. Number one, there must be a concerted effort to restore to public water supply. It's absolutely important. Otherwise, you want people to die because they are taking water from their private boreholes, especially in those heavily flooded areas. Number two, our sanitation practices, especially fecal sludge management, is a big problem now. You know, the fecal sludge that we evacuate from our septic tanks, you know, we just dump them somewhere. They're not properly managed. Some of the time, they even commix with solid materials, and there's a leachate that has a long-term threat. But even that one now, when there's flood, this is carried to the street, carried to pollute groundwater and all that. So when you look at that, it's a serious situation. Can you imagine those dump sites overwhelmed with flood? So that also requires emergency. Nevertheless, on a private level, don't even trust sachet water. And I'm not demarketing them. We've done studies in the past where we found E. coli in sachet water. So the onus is on households to treat their water before they drink. Basic boil, or probably look for whatever, just to make sure that what you are drinking is safe. But you know that is not a sustainable situation. So I'm still calling on the government at this point. This is an advocacy that the government should rise. Already we've declared the state of emergency for WASH in Nigeria. It is time to put resources, to put boots on the ground. Otherwise, a lot of our communities will break down with cholera disease. This flood is not joking. It's overwhelming our septic tanks. Can you imagine places where they have pit latrine and then flood encroaches? What do you think is going to be the impact? So yes, our people should be careful to not to block, drainages, channels, and all that. But the current situation where we are has gone beyond all those individual practices. Massive water is coming downstream. The sea level is rising, is pushing back. So it has distorted the natural course of water. And then we now have our own practices that require massive government intervention. How do we make sure that we keep this fecal matter treated, properly contained, so that flood will not come and push it back to us? You know, so this is an appeal, because I want to use this time to appeal to the government. We are in a state of emergency, and the government must pay attention to WASH services now, because the floods have impaired. Can you imagine, even in some places, people don't even have access into the water treatment plant. Water treatment plant that has its own issues in terms of asset maintenance. Now they are also overwhelmed by flood in some places. Electromechanical equipment are flooded. So we need to pay real attention, and the government must pay attention to public water supply. That is how we can deliver our people from diseases. We need to restore public water supply so that we can guarantee water, the quality of water in the taps.
Roundup, we are taken in by issue of the issue of technical issues that interrupted what we're talking about. How much has the government used the WASH expert, water, sanitation, and hygiene expert? Because we see most of the WASH and sanitation experts are interested in reports and academics, and the real issues are taking us an emergency, and they are somewhere relegated to the background. No government is interested in what they do. Even the government you are calling upon, are they going to be appealed? Are they not seeing this emergency? Are they protected by any other thing? And then we just want you to quickly talk about this, and we talk. But this talk, we guarantee you will continue even after now, because it's very sensitive topic. Thank you.
Not just in the WASH sector, Nigerians are brilliant. All over the world, we are pulling our weight. It does not just transfer to good governance, and that's why we continue to have this conversation. So even if we know what to do, and then the government is not prioritizing, or maybe the resources are not enough. For example, I was somewhere in Sokoto, and then they told me that this Goroyo Dam area is silted up, and there's no resources there. Even if they want to desilt that basin, that dam, they don't even know where they're going to put. That is not going to have adverse environmental impact, you know. So yes, there are experts, and we keep profiling, we keep using data research and all that. Even when you go to government circles, they have different kind of programs, you know, they will lay it down for you, but the devil is in the implementation. But now, our chicken has come home to roost. You can't run away from it. The flood is coming in, and the impact is evident. So the government has no choice. Now it's time for the watch professionals to begin to speak up, to let the government know that we are sitting on a time bomb and you have to prioritize it. As a matter of fact, any government that does not tackle this issue should not win election. Let's use advocacy to injure anybody's electoral fortune if they continue to look at our communities being flooded and they just come and tell us stories. This impact is devastating, and it means that we must not allow the government to just sleep over it and think it's just going to go away, like they expect almost all problems to go away without making concerted efforts. We need resources, we need performance-driven intervention. We want to make sure that even when the flood comes and people will still drink good water, we want to make sure that we don't treat our fecal sludge, fecal matter carelessly anymore. And the experts are supposed to get to the streets, and let's begin to monitor that the right things are being done. Otherwise, there is a collateral damage, and nobody will be able to escape from it. Either directly or indirectly, it's going to impact everybody. Nobody jokes with water. It was flood that God used to destroy the whole world. So we know that water, you can't joke. You can tame fire, but you can't tame wide water. When it breaks its banks, you can expect the consequences. So I'm using this medium to raise alarm, to raise advocacy, that the government must rise up and set up special committee in all the states at the federal level so that we don't run into trouble. We're already in trouble, but we can still get out of it if we give it the correct attention.
Mark Ademi for joining us.
We'd like to talk with him when he's here.
Yes.
And see what he has done.
Yes, I would like you people to meet him.
And you know, now that you're talking about this, how has governments in the country, how have they related with you as a former, as a wife of a former president?
Let me start with the federal government. The federal government is doing something. We're all wives of former diseased former heads of state. There's an upkeep for us. Monthly or quarterly, they will send us some money, and which doesn't go feeding, if you consider feeding, health, take care of yourself, you go for medical check now annually and every other thing around you. But it's better than not having anything. But the states, no. It is only Chimoro Kennamane was helping somehow And then the next governor of ENUGU State that, beat everybody was Ifeanyi Ugwuanya, His Excellency Ifeanyi Ugwuanya.
He connected with you?
Immediately, after a few months or what, he visited us and said, I will do something. The next thing, he employed my son as a PA, his PA. For these 8 years, he was there. And then, every month, he will send me maintenance upkeep. Every month.
How about the present governor of Enugu State? Did he continue in the same tradition?
He didn't. Even Sullivan Chima didn't continue from.
How about the governors in Anambra, where?
Oh, no. It's only. I think it's only P2B. During P2B's time, when he was leaving, he gave us cars. But that was a group of advisors, elders from Anambra that were meeting quarterly to work with him, advise him, and so on. We had that group, Anambra something leaders. I've forgotten the title. That was how P2B. I got something from P2B as a person.
Not because you were wife of the former president.
Not. Then, when he retired, he bought cars for all. That's what I was told, though, because I just was called and I went and collected my own car, Nissan. That was my own. A very strong, beautiful car. I'm enjoying the car. But others, no, nothing. The current one here, I'm sorry to say it, not even saying Kekunume hi. No. None of them. That was when the hotel they housed me, Naife Part in Nigeria. I have to pay for my dinner. They said I'll pay for water.
The government put you in the hotel?
Yes.
But you had to pay for your food?
Yes. And then water.
Including water?
Including anything that you take. It's just accommodation that they paid for. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you. So, and I don't want to say it aloud to people. I don't want it to look as if I'm begging. I'm not begging. I'm very comfortable. I made my own money as a professor and other things that I'm doing. And other investments, yes.
But we're talking about the office. Right?
Okay,
it's not about you.
Okay.
It's about what you represent. That's I think it's what you represent. It's not because these things are not supposed to be done because somebody is hungry.
Okay.
But they are supposed to be done because they are supposed to be done.
Okay. That is because you understand that. You understand it that way.
So when you look back, do you think that Nigeria has handled Zig's legacy, the way it should be handled?
No. Let me say, Nigeria has tried, but Eastern region, or let's say Southeast, let's not add Eastern region because
his home base.
His home base. I will forward the video somebody sent to me that distinguished Senator Sheikh Husani, fearless Sheikh Husani, what he wrote and posted. That the whole country respects Zik, revere him, except Ndi Igbo.
The Southeast.
Southeast, upon the Southeast, Ndi Igbo. It is, I'll forward the video to you. That's an Hausa man. Sorry, Hausa Fulani. A
northerner.
A northerner, good. That's a northerner. Yes. He said it recently, I think last week. That's when somebody forwarded it to me. And I said, my dear, now their business. Ndị Igbo si na onye kpọọ ọbịa mkpọkọrọ. Anyị maka eji ekpo ntụ. He has done his own, played his role, and the whole world knows what he did. But I want to say that we don't have respect for him. Yes. That's my own interpretation.
Let's look at Nigeria. You were with Zik. You
later part of his life.
Yes, later part of his life. And in a previous interview you and I had, he told me about him sharing his thoughts about the future of Nigeria, his belief, his hopes in what Nigeria would become in future. Do you think that those hopes he shared with you, that in any way that Nigeria is living up to it?
I don't think so. I don't think so because of the situation in the country now. I don't think Nigeria is, I don't think Nnamdi Azikiwe and his contemporaries, Awolowo, I don't know, that they will be happy wherever they are. They won't. The way things are going in Nigeria. Not just Zik. Because I was telling a friend of mine that if I die today, I'll be happy I enjoyed Nigeria. But I don't know if my grandchildren will enjoy the Nigeria we enjoyed in our younger days. Things are not the same in many ways.
What was like that Nigeria like, the one you enjoyed? And what is it that is so different now?
Okay. You will travel from, let me just start with insecurity, which is frightening everybody. You can travel from Afikpo, my hometown, to Lagos at night. And it will be Bongoro 911, not buses. So how many if you have money for buses, then you are lucky then. You can, you know, be friendly with anybody from any area in Nigeria, Yoruba, Hausa, or Northerner, Westerners, whatever. And you feel at home, you feel friendly, you love each other. You see somebody on the road with problem, you help, not even knowing who the person is. But nowadays, if you see somebody, what you see is when somebody is having a problem, you see people videoing to post, video and post.
Not to help.
Not to help. Not to help. Cost of living. There are many things. As I told, when we were chatting privately, I told him my father was a sergeant major in the police barracks. What were they paid? And I came from a polygamous home. 4, 5, anytime we have 4 wives, it's okay. At times 4 is within, and then 2 or many out. outside the home. We were together.
Was good.
Good. Together. The mama who will be responsible for feeding us for the week or for a what, we just cook and everybody will eat together. There was peace, harmony. You see a child that is doing anything wrong, wherever it is, you discipline the child. And if you go home and tell the parents, they will again repeat what you did. But now, if you beat a child in the school, the parents will rush to the school and start harassing the teacher, harassing the school, whatever they call themselves now, those who have private schools, or even government schools. A lot of things have just gone, I just don't know. I am not happy. I'm not happy. Are you talking of going to school? I know we went to school with, I started with a plate. Or is it with chalk?
Slate.
Slate with chalk. You enjoyed your school. We played. You did everything. The teachers will discipline you. You will learn. But nowadays, I don't even know what is happening in our schools nowadays. Everybody is just, I read Anambra State governor, no convocation, no graduation. How can a primary school, creche, graduate with graduation gown, cap, and whatever. What is it for? Ripping the parents. It's not good. So a lot of things are happening which we didn't experience in my own time. And I'm saying it's not the same.
Do you think it has to do with leadership or the followership?
Leadership. It's when you have a good leader, then the followers will be good. Is it when you have a leader that the Lord says, as a Christian, thou shalt not steal, and you see your leader, your leader is stealing, then what do you expect me or those who want to steal to do? They will join the leader to steal. Thou shalt not kill. And then you see them killing because they want power. What do you expect all those who are bad to do? They will do the same thing to get whatever they want on their own, not being. Everybody is struggling to be in power. Just to do what? To go and grab. Nigeria has money. Just consider what was happening between East, West, and North during the time of independence. Nothing. Everybody was struggling. Every zone or region was struggling to do what? To maintain peace and order, to have all the facilities, road, light, water, schools, hospitals for citizens. But now, nothing. You go to the hospital, you won't find it. Even they will give you prescription and say, go and buy from the pharmacy. In a maybe government hospital. No.
You said Zik, Ahmadu Bello, Awolowo, they will not be happy.
No, they won't. I don't think.
What's the difference between those leaders and the leaders we have today?
They were selfless. It wasn't. They were there to serve the people. They were there to build the nation. They were there to sacrifice. I don't think there was this grab. Sorry, somebody, EFCCC, I said 54 properties.
One person.
One person that worked just for how many years? For how many, and what was the salary? Allowances, whatever. If you add all of them for all these, the 8 years he was there, it wouldn't be enough for you to have all those things. Not just a bungalow, hotel, estate. Estate is not one house. Many houses in the estate, one person. How many did Zik live apart? Zik made his money, prepared himself. Whatever he built, he will tell you, I will give you account of how the shishi for everything. From journalism, he made what he wanted to make then, built what here, the university, the Catherine Rest house, and the few houses. And he has no house. He had no house in London. He had nothing, no house in London, none in US. The few in Lagos is based on West African Pilot and all other newspapers. He was running. He had up to 8 newspapers distributed all over the zones in Nigeria. I think about 8 of them, and so on. So, but when he was fully involved in politics, according to what I read and what he told me, he withdrew from all those businesses. What did he leave? Nothing. For how many years? And somebody who is there for just 8 years will have 54 properties.
And not even a governor, not even a president.
A minister. Even if a governor or a president, tragic. You cannot have such things. You cannot have, no matter what. That is the problem in Nigeria. And then they said the law is the hope of the common man, the last hope
of the common man.
That from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing, you now go to court, you don't even know what the judges are going to, the final arbiter. No.
They also compromise.
They are all, everybody, from the beginning to the end, compromised. That's my own. I don't know. Let me be proved wrong. They've been compromised. No, it's not fair on Nigerians. Zik, Awolowo, Sarona, and all those in the before independence and after independence, they were quite different from what we have now as leaders.
Where did we go wrong? Where did this whole thing go bad? As Nigerians will say, where did it spoil?
I don't know. I just can't place my hand on.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
With you. 32 years and 10 months. And during this period, I worked in various capacities, in missions in Ghana, Portugal, South Africa, of course, China, America, Atlanta, and finally, last High Commissioner to Australia and the Pacifics. Yes, xenophobic incidences are not strange to some of us. I remember while in Ghana, we see some of them, especially as it concerns Nigeria. And South Africa have been there for a long time. And unfortunately, it shouldn't be, because these are unfounded fears. Our brothers look at us as if other African countries, as if we are taking their jobs, we are taking the opportunity they have. Whereas it's not supposed to be so, because this definitely negates the position of AU, which is African integration, for labor mobility, cross-border activities, and many things. But I'm happy to also observe before we go further that yesterday, ECOWAS heads of states met in Sierra Leone a few days ago, but yesterday concluded that this issue should be in the agenda of next AU meeting. So it's no more talk, there should be need for actions. And of course, this has warranted that AU also have to look at those various chapters and constituent laws that put the non-interference sovereignty. Is it working? I don't think so. Especially looking at, you see, the effort we made to emancipate all African countries, especially South Africa, Southern Africans, South Africa in particular, against, of course, apartheid, across all borders. And of course, Nigeria championed it. And in the spirit of integration and unification, I don't think we should be talking about things like this, where shops are looted, physical harms. Look at the irritating stories we are hearing. Families, of course, are disconnected. Even when you're married to South Africa, they say, no, go. Where does that happen? Because you're a Nigerian, married to South Africa, you people have children. They divide families. So something has to be done to restore sanity in the overall interest of our continent.
Ambassador, it's good to have you here. I didn't tell you guys that he's my direct boss. Ambassador, he has been personally nice to me. And I'm happy to have you on the hot seat today. You have been all over the world, this much an hour, and especially around Africa. Like you said, you have been in Ghana. I know while I was in Guinea-Bissau, the people in charge there, you were always in touch with them. In fact, every Nigerian consulate that I've made contact with, and immediately I introduce myself as knowing you, I get special attention. Thank you, for making things life easier for me around Africa and around the world. This morning we are in Signature TV. At some point we are the Chache in Pretoria or Johannesburg, and you have also been in Ghana. What exactly did South Africans and Ghanaians get wrong about Nigerians, and what did Nigerians or has Nigerians gotten wrong about South Africans and then Ghana? And as a Chache and a top foreign ministry official during your career, and by the way, congratulations for meritorious service. I didn't even know you've come home, and I was going to call you for, for what. So, what is the most distressing call you've ever received from a Nigerian in a foreign land in terms of xenophobia?
Yes, we are saying the same thing. For instance, when I was in Pretoria, South Africa, you see, some of us see this as an irrational fears of your brother. Nigerians, given where we're coming from, when we're even out there, yes, hardworking, we are loud. We are loud. So in most cases, our brothers think that we're overstretching ourselves. They feel intimidated, unfound intimidation. And of course, we compete very well. So this is essentially why in most cases, they come after our nationals, But as a mission, those instances, we engage the government bilaterally. During town unions, we'll talk with Nigerians on how to comport themselves. So we engage government bilateral. As we can even see, this last incident, Nigeria had to engage APs to evacuate our nationals. And I'm sure it did not stop there. They're even having bilateral discussion, asking South African country to compensate our nationals, to help them reintegrate. Some of them have shops, they have properties, they have lots of things in their country. This is definitely unwarranted. I'm also happy to note that Malema, Julius Malema, their own brother, had to scold them a few days ago that you're chasing shadow, not the substance. Go back, apply yourself, be competitive. Even reminded them that there's people working in Nigeria, other nations working in Nigeria. Are we asking them to go? The world is about competition. So I think that is that. But another thing that is not helping is that due to the AU position of, we believe in sovereignty, not interference, you can see it's not working. So hopefully now, I'm happy also to note that yesterday, I read it, that President Mahama and our own president have agreed that this avoidable crisis of xenophobia attack should be in the next agenda of AU so that they can put something practical, proactively on ground to begin to hold countries accountable on how they're treating migrants.
But what would you say is the role of the Nigerian, embassy, their relationship with foreign countries, especially in this case? I know Nigeria has really been careful with the way they retaliate and some of the policies they're working with. But do you think the Nigerian government is doing enough? It's not just about evacuating the returnees, which is applaudable. Many people love them for that. But are they taking the action that will not see them weak or being vulnerable to these attacks from South Africa?
No, I don't think so. In global society and diplomacy, I said the federal government have engaged them bilaterally. In fact, the Minister of Foreign Affairs had to go to Ghana to oversee the evacuation and to meet her own counterparts and made a strong statement that, go to South Africa, not Ghana, to make a strong statement that this should cease. We are brothers. We are talking about labor mobility. We are talking about cross-border doing things. In the interest, of course, if we want to talk, I will talk about after policy. It's about making African countries to trade within themselves, especially now, do business within ourselves, in helping us grow economically, not so much dependence on foreign countries. So our federal government, to this extent, I'm sure, they won't go to war. They will make it, if they say to make a tango, I wouldn't think that, they've asked our people to go, we should also ask them to go. That's not the right way to go. From perspective, our government have done the right thing. We evacuated our citizens. I'm happy we shared it here. And they have been engaged bilaterally to compensate these citizens. And of course, the good thing is that I don't think it's spiraling, it's not on the increase, because there are still some Nigerians who are in South Africa, properly documented, that are still there. So I'm sure the situation is under control for now.
Thank you, Ambassador. My father told me that if you ask everybody to go to their homes, if you ask everybody to go to their maternal uncle's home, nobody will be at home. Now that in having been in diplomatic circle, why is it that it's lost in African Union? Nobody talk about that. If I ask you to go, then if you come to my house, you won't see me. It's very dangerous. I'm happy you said AU has just started talk. Is it that they're starting the talk late when Nigeria is spending billions to profile and bring back our people? And we're talking about compensation. Why is it that AU did not stop the fight before the push? Is it coming at a good time? And then what is he going to be with African Union tomorrow? Because he who has spoken might forgot, but the person he told will remember.
My brother, you remember I had recalled here that AU's charter or constituents is about non-intervention. It's about respecting the sovereignty of every country. You don't expect them to start waging war, doing something outside the constituted body. Now, from my people also pushing, oh, this thing wouldn't stop here. Let them go further to put laws in place that will check the excesses of these developments. That was why I said that even President Mahama and our president have advocated that this South African xenophobic experience should be in the next agenda of the AU. So I'm sure in the next agenda, they should be able to look at it, especially in view of the fact that where they are standing today is not taking care of migrants in various countries. And we are behaving as if we are not one body. It does not work. European Union, are they asking their members to leave their country? No. Americans, are they asking Americans to leave? We must realize the fact that we need to work together like Africans to liberate ourselves. That's why we are thinking there should be massive education. People should be educated, like we are saying now. South Africans should know that blacks are not their problem. Hard work should be what they should embrace. Improve themselves. I live there. I don't want to criticize anybody. This is where Nigerians stand out. Hard work, enterprising, and the ability to compete no matter what the situation is. That is where to go. And our brothers shouldn't take that. I remember casually they say, we even take their women. It's even on media. The president of Kenya says something, Nigerians, Igbo people are taking their women. It's like that. It's just because of who we are. But our brothers, like I say, AU will now have to look at it critically, then come with a law that will enable them to engage various countries that are not protecting migrants. Because we need cross-border labor, we need cross-border integration so that we can continue, of course. Policy cohesion. Talking of policy cohesion, what does that mean? You see, the AU Charter should, take critical look on what is happening in those countries and their own policy and how to build them together to make sure it gives out the required results. I think that's my take on that.
Okay, thank you.
And the fervor, the passion shown to him by the people is unprecedented. Only late Buhari, had a similar appeal to the masses. Forget that he betrayed all the hype and the hope when he was given the power. But the important thing is that Peter has momentum, and luckily he has a running mate who also has momentum up north and generally in many parts of the country. You see, the equation or the way to fall out, this prediction, the prediction is that for January 2027, what will play out will not be exactly how it played out in 2023. 2023, Peter had momentum, he got the votes, but somehow lost it. Nobody will take INEC on their words anymore. Remember all the promises made by Festus Okoye and Professor Mahmoud. They swore, they made statements and said, this is the way this thing will run. At the end of the day, they betrayed the hope of Nigerians. Dashed it. Nigerians have learned their lesson. Once beaten, 10 times shy. So Nigerians are getting ready. The stories about making statements and pious statements and promises and press releases will do this. Nobody will believe them. Nobody will believe. In fact, this Professor Amopitan, nobody will believe whatever he says. So far, he has shown his hand.
But I was thinking you are going to pinpoint if there's any structural lessons, if there's any angle that you think the administration in 2023 at some point did not, follow up or carried out well that would have affected them in any way that you expect in 2027 would not be repeated?
Yes. No, first and foremost, INEC betrayed Nigerians. They made concrete statements. This is the way, these are the rules of engagement. When the thing came down to the votes and announcement, everything changed. They suddenly ate their words. Suddenly ate it. So they have lost credibility. So nobody will believe this time. I cannot tell me that they will be uploading, there will be this, there will be that. Even the loophole created by law is a route for doing another mago, if I may use that expression. So this time around, we are a voters coalition. I'm not a member of NDC. I'll make it clear. Right now, I carry the card of no political party. I'm merely a Nigerian interested in democracy. I'm entitled to vote. I have a voter's card. I will vote. And the effort I can do, the best I can do for myself is see that in my own polling unit and areas where I can influence, there are guardians at the gate who are going to police these votes and see that no story is told. Some of the measures are things that are not supposed to be discussed in public, but the fact remains that there's enough tools available to any ordinary Nigerian now to be able to challenge and counter any untoward behavior by the election management body, which we expect. So far, the way the professor is going is showing it is clear, is partisan. But the popular will of Nigerians, overwhelming feeling of Nigerians can police it. There's no way you can defeat a mass movement that says, no, do this thing properly. Let the votes reflect, let the announcement reflect what we voted for and how we voted. The sort of distortions and the sort of you see some of the ballot papers from Rivers State. It cries to heaven for justice. Such things cannot be allowed, because by the time you are uploading, we're also uploading. Let me just put it this way: in terms of getting the wherever the elections hold, you can easily capture it. All of us have tools. It is available to every Nigerian who has a smartphone. So this time around, it won't be like last round. We are now prepared to be forewarned and to be forearmed.
Mr. Oku, I'm going to put it direct to you.
Yes.
A few days ago, Engineer Kwankwanso came out to say that P2B signed a one-term pact. Did Obi sign it? Would that not mean that P2B is desperate to be president?
Well, I wouldn't know. I cannot tell you now whether he signed or he not signed. If Kwankwanso says it, let me assume it is correct. He will not tell such cheap lies. In any case, the NDC has come out clearly and said there is a party policy that this is a one-term presidency. And even in some states, they made the same arrangement. The NDC, as a political party, has said so. But you see, like in those days of pool betting, it's written on in small letters. This agreement, this arrangement is only binding in honor. It's a matter of honor. Politicians are very good to dishonor any agreement. All these agreements are not enforceable. Like a lawyer can tell you, not enforceable. So it's a matter of honor. Recall that good Lord Jonathan made a statement or made an agreement in-house that he would only for one term. He reneged. But the people showed him by their vote. Particularly it was up north. I recall I was studying north that time. You see a PDP candidate with a Buhari, APC, as same poster. The PDP North rebelled against good Lord Jonathan. He lost the election. So, but Obi is an honorable man. He on his own, without any prompting, made it clear. Based on the way Nigeria is politically structured and they are doing arrangements, which is a PDP thing, but which has been popularly accepted, I can only run for one term. I don't need 2 terms to put the structures in place that will set Nigeria on the path of recovery.
Two things.
Yeah.
When it gets to election time,
yeah,
Nigeria is north and south.
Yes.
With your experience in Nigerian politics, I want to put that aside. Now, second, you mentioned that Buhari commanded followership.
Yes.
The Tarakawa.
Yes.
And at the end of it all, he said he dashed the hope of the masses.
Yes.
Now that the P2B is carrying the masses, and he's also a politician, budding one, is there likelihood that he might dash the hope of the masses too, like Buhari did, like according to you? These 2 things I want you to quickly read.
There's a difference. Look at P2B's political trajectory. Look at Buhari. Buhari was never tested politically. He became head of state through a military coup and the kind of, would I say, outsourced power to Idiabon. When he was chairman, I had an idea, because I was in Abuja at that time and was very close to some of his lieutenants, Safana and Co. When he was chairman of PTF, he franchised the thing to Safana and Co. To PTF, the group called something consortium. He practically ran it through them. He's always a kind of detached leader. So Buhari's failure didn't surprise people like us. I knew him closely when I was General Secretary of CMP. We worked closely. Very, very, very disciplined. You'll be the first to arrive at a meeting, but you make no contribution. So P2B is different. He has iron cast credentials showing his performance in governance. Whatever you may say, you cannot take away fiscal responsibility from Peter. Peter does not throw money, public funds around. He has shown that in his lifestyle and in governance in Anambra State. It's very important that we go back to that, because part of the waste, part of the problem of Nigeria is the enormous waste in governance. If we can reduce Nigerian waste in public office by about 30%, there'll be so much savings for infrastructure, for development. So Peter has that advantage as compared to Buhari. Yes, politically, there's a north-south divide in Nigeria, but I don't think there's a political south. I don't believe so. There's a political north, but there's no political south in real terms. So the north, for example, has black-spotted Tinubu, and that is one reason why he will go. They have this consciousness and conspiracy. I don't know how they do it, but having black-spotted Tinubu will not be re-elected in January next year.
Okay, so Ginger asked the question about the single term,
yes.
that
yes.
Congress talked about.
Yes.
I'm not surprised. I think I've heard of it a couple of times on the news to where he said he would rather go for one term because he believes that he can do something in that single term.
Yes.
And these have raised concerns.
Yes.
Remember, he has said in a couple of occasions too, when he was in different parties, how he would not leave those parties.
Yeah.
Because he trusted and he believed in them, and then he was going to stand and fight with them. And somehow he leaves this party to the next party, from that party to another party. And has been making statements that people would have said they will hold on to and believe that he's a man of his word. Now, the next one that got people really thinking was when he left ADC. They were thinking that he would stand his ground, do the primaries. You claim you have your supporters, people love you, you will get it. So why not stand there and fight? So these characters, people are concerned. Like the statement of the one time, is it a political statement just to get your way in? Does he have the strong will to keep to his word in times of tribulation? So
I believe in the circumstances, Peter has no option on the one-term undertaking or commitment. Reasons. One is that he's a credible and a very sincere Nigerian. I believe that if he's elected, he will not try to run for a second term. And then there's insurance by the other side. You see, the race for 2031 has already begun. There are certain northern interests who would make sure he does not try a Goodluck Jonathan trick on them. If he does it, he will fail. They will ensure that. And the way it is now, the popular sentiment is that, and that is what is going to run against Atiku, is an attempt to run again. And when the thing is in the south, is really skewed against him. So, having said that, there is this inbuilt institutional veto, or would I say guarantee that if you attempt to renege on your statement or your promise on your taking, the system will make sure they stop you. Secondly, this idea of moving from party to party is an adroit political move, in my own opinion. I can tell you that Peter was chased away from APGA. He was chased away. Not that he wanted to leave. He was chased away from APGA. We were part of the exercise from day one. Recall that when APGA began, the chairman of APGA was Shekwas Okorie. I was deputy national chairman, South, #2 man. So I can tell you a lot of what I passed under the bridge, but that's not why we're here. Then PDP, Labour, ADC, NDC. If you look at it, if Peter had remained in ADC, he would not be on the ballot today. That is the fact. Forget about saying let's run for primary. The thing was already snookered. It was already the idea was already committed for one man.
Center of it all.
We pass out to the Embraer brand of aircrafts. So yesterday, Thursday, at about 10 local time, that is 10 minutes after 3 o'clock, one of our aeroplanes, the Embraer E170, flight 4264, going from Lagos to Benin direct, overran the end of the runway 05 in Benin. what we need to stress is that the aircraft did not crash. It was not a crash landing. Everybody is saying crash landing. There was no crash landing. The aircraft has landed, and in airline terminology, what happened is called runway excursion. Like excursion that you go with school children to visit. So it's a technical term for it is runway excursion, which is an incident where an aircraft veers off or overruns the paved tarmac, which is also why the places outside the tarmac are always grassed, because it is an incident that has great possibility in the industry.
So, Mr. Richard, it's good to see you guys trying to, provide sufficient information and reassure the public. I want to ask, this incident, is it a pilot problem, an aircraft problem, or a runway problem?
That is why we have in Nigeria a very robust Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB. When we have incidents like this, it's an automatic reflex action. Their operations kick in. Luckily, it's populated by a lot of technically knowledgeable individuals. So because of the technicality and fragility of the airline industry, you don't ever speculate. Even in international climes, when there's a crash, you look for the black box before you say anything, because that gives you information. But this one, fortunately, there was no crash, but there was an incident. It's like in law, each time there's somebody who dies unexpectedly, a coroner's inquest kicks in by way of post-mortem and all that. Whenever there's an incident in airline industry, there must be some investigation, and not by choice, but so that if it's fault on any place, appropriate measures will be taken to ensure that it does not happen again. So I'm not in a position to now begin to guess. Actually, we don't ever guess. We can never speculate. It's wrong. So what we just explained that a runway excursion refers to an incident where an aircraft veers off or overruns the black tarmac into the grass area of the tarmac, by overshooting the end of the runway or drifting off the side of the runway, and that's why it ended in the way it did. There could be damage to the instrument, but not damage to the people, minimal or no injuries, and definitely no fatalities. We thank God for that.
All right.
The exact cause is under investigation by the NSIB.
Okay, so Ago, while we are trusting that something like this would not happen again, what are the measures, or shall I say assurance, put in place, for passengers, potential passengers, not to have this fear of experiencing something like this?
That's definitely why I'm speaking to you, to reassure passengers that, one, ENUGU has 3 primary priorities: safety, customer satisfaction, timeliness. And I want to reassure all those who have been flying us, but we continue to be very competitive in our ticket prices. I want to reassure them that they have no cause for alarm. This is an incident that could have happened to any other aircraft that was landing in Benin at that time, because, like nobody plans for it, which is why we have insurance, which is why we pay for insurance.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on E-Vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on E-Vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorom, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
Hello and welcome to Abuja this rather rainy morning in the Federal Capital Territory. This is Signature Morning and my name is Mwabo Zenjoku. The matter of the Bajabiamila Gate. It won't go away. It has not gone away. And the president has done something which many people have been asking him to do right from the first day. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the ICPC, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, to step into this issue. The president wants to know who individuals, ministries, whether official or external, who facilitated this national disgrace. In the course of this conversation this morning, we will commend the president
for listening to Nigerians and trying to save the image of the presidency. We will also try to tell him what he has not done that ought to be done. My guest this morning is a lawyer, politician, two-time commissioner for information in Abia State, a master's degree holder in law, and a chieftain of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, Dr. Eze Chikamnayo. Chikamnayo, you're welcome to the program this morning.
Thank you, my brother.
It is not a morning to celebrate. It is rather a morning to introspect. But on a positive note, the issue of a fake agency in the presidency has been trending since over a week. But the president did something on Tuesday, and that is step into it personally and ask the ICPC to investigate. How did you welcome that presidential reaction?
I believe it's too little, too late. Too little, too late. That's how I describe it, because the president himself knows that he is very unfair to Nigerians. That, we started talking about this. I've gone on various media houses. My party has issued an official press release, and then several Nigerians from all walks of life have been clamoring for accountability in this issue. And then the president wakes up and refers it to ICPC. That's not what we wanted. What we wanted was an independent investigation that does not involve any of the
presidential bureaucracy,
any agency under the presidency, and if possible, a judicial panel of inquiry that will bring all the actors to come and account for their role. And you cannot conclude, I disagree with you, that the agency is fake. That's the narrative the presidency has been waving.
Yeah, no, that is what we are told, and we cannot manufacture.
No. We
in the media cannot manufacture.
No. We don't accept hook line. That's not our practice. I'm a journalist.
Yes, I know.
I was one before I became a lawyer. It's not our practice to swallow hook, line, and sinker, whatever we are told by government. We investigate, and until it has been proven to be fake, we will not run with the narrative of the presidency that is fake. Who told you it's fake? How did you know it's fake? In the course of this conversation, I will prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that it couldn't have been fake. It couldn't have possibly been fake, because it is an agency that is woven through the whims and caprices of some people who must have been very influential insiders for it to even take off in the first place. So using that word fake, please, is not fair to the investigation. It's not fair to Nigerians. It's not fair to the spirit of accountability. It's too presumptuous. It's too premature to say that agency was fake. And then for the president to refer it to ICPC is also part of what we have said should not happen. We want an independent investigation, headed by a senior member of the judiciary, a judicial panel of inquiry. And we also demanded, most importantly, that for fairness, for this inquiry to amount to anything, that all the people who have been accused of being complicit one way or the other, or being negligent one way or the other, should be asked to step aside in the interest of fairness and justice. You cannot arrest the man who is heading that agency, as it were, and then ignore the people that he said worked with him and brought that agency to bear. Femi Gbajabiamila should be suspended immediately. The secretary to government of the federation, who is in charge of issuing of appointment letters and issuing of circulars of government and issuing of supervision of agencies, should be suspended immediately. So George Akume should be suspended. Gbajabiamila should be suspended. The CBN governor, who superintended over an institution that is supposed to be the soul of our financial systems, and is unable to put up systems that could make it impossible, visually impossible, for somebody to come in and put this CBN account. So the same as
information.
Yes.
I think it's necessary.
Yes.
Even though I provide the two sides to it.
Yes.
The office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation said no account was opened in the CBN. Prince Adeyemi and co attempted to do so, but the process flagged it because certain documents did not really rhyme with what obtains in the presidency. And so they flagged it and they said no account was opened. That queries our saying that the CBN should be found, should be indicted or whatever. I want to provide the two sides first.
Yes, this
so that
is,
you can,
I
make
agree with you that they are now saying whatever they want to say. These are things they should be saying to the panel, not to us, not in press releases. They ought to go to the panel. The SGF too should equally tell us how that man's so-called agency found its way to the federal budget. The budget.
There are two other things I provide for you
Yes.
because you need to comment on them, but
Yes.
I need to contrast this very information with another one. Because Bayo Onanuga, in his initial statement on behalf of the presidency, admitted that there was an account in CBN, but that Prince Adeyemi and his team deceived CBN officials with fake documents. In other words, Bayo's statement said there was an account obtained by deceit. Office of the SGF says there was no account because the process was incomplete and there was no account in the CBN. It's good for you to have the two sides so that you can make an appropriate intervention.
It's not two sides. It's a desperate and deliberate attempt to pull the wool over the eyes of Nigerians. The Tinubu administration has proven to be a government of contradictions. And that if we had time, I would have given you examples of such. But be that as it may, whether we are going to take the version by Onanuga,
good, there's an account, there's an account, and there's no account,
and then, or that of Akume, who said there's no account, we will now ask ourselves, these two individuals, whose terrors,
who's are officials of the presidency,
yes, who are officials of the president, ought to step aside. They cannot be judges in their own matter. They are not supposed to be in office and be making every desperate attempt to cover up their tracks. Remember, something critical has happened in the course of this case. The go-between this man and the people he has alleged he is working with in the go died mysteriously in a fire incident in his house. No autopsy.
In a hotel, indeed.
Well, some said hotel, some said in his house, which is the same reason why there ought to be a judicial panel of inquiry. Who killed this man? Why was he suddenly eliminated? Who investigated it? Has there been any autopsy? Who was arrested for the for the purpose of the arson, as it were,
that took his life?
That took his life, or
whatever
was
fire service involved at any
yes,
point.
So these things have gone on and on for 2 months, and the SGF is still in office. Bajabi Amina is still in office. The budget office head is still in office. The CBN people are still in office. And then you are asking the presidency to investigate itself, because the ICPC is an agency under the presidency. So it does not have the gumption or the capacity to initiate, because Bajabi Amina is the chief of staff to the president. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the ICPC going to investigate a sitting member of the cabinet, in fact, the soul of the presidency, the fulcrum of the presidency, they are playing to the gallery, and everybody knows, and you know too.
Now you're a lawyer. They want to begin an investigation. Two things have developed since a little bit before the president made this order. The first is that security operatives arrested the father of Prince Adeyemi.
Intimidation, harassment.
In law, really.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to do that.
I want you to educate me, because
yes, this whole thing is getting unnecessarily messy. It's a simple thing. Two fighting. Who is supposed to separate these two? This man said, Bajabi Amila brought me into this whole business. That's his allegation. And he aided and abetted whatever I did. He has accused the presidency of collusion, of being part of whatever happened. That's his allegation. But Jabi Amila said, no, I don't know you. I never knew you. I have no business with you. You're fake. This is two fighting. Who is supposed to separate the two? The law, the institutions of government. How do you separate the two? By bringing two of them to a point, to a platform of fairness, equity, where the two sides will be heard, not from a point of you being on top and having all the instruments of coercion, all the instruments of government, and doing your inside work to destroy all the evidences that are going to help in the unraveling of the truth in this issue. While the other man is sitting in office, the other man is, in detention, and the go between suddenly dies. The father is being arrested.
I want you to speak to that, because a number of civil society organizations are reacting to it, inquiring in essence, what is the function of his father living in his village with an accusation raised by a mature, independent citizen against another. If the security operatives were to look for somebody to bring before the law,
who authorized the security operatives to act? The issue is that the security operatives could have only acted if authorized by an establishment, as it were, institution as it were. So who authorized them to go after the father when there is yet to be, an investigation? Because only after a thorough, dispassionate investigation that you can now begin to order the arrest of people who have been implicated or, who have been found to be part of whatever is wrong or right in the issue. But going after his father, going after him, and then purportedly going after the go-between who is now late, and then, breathing down with all the instruments and all the forces and all the powers of states in one direction, while the other one is more like business as usual. Shielded. Okay, let me ask you, so this is a case of a spectacular institutional failure of the highest magnitude, of the highest order. Now, you told us that this man invented an agency. That's what you tell us. And you want us to believe, isn't it? You will not tell us that the same man forged his own appointment letter. And you want us to believe you. I have been in government. I have been appointed by government. Appointment letters are not typed in business centers. Appointment letters originate from the office of the secretary to government with serial numbers, with protective, if you look at security checks. And then when that appointment letter comes through the office of the SGF or the office of even the chief of staff, it now is minuted to the accountant general of the federation for the purpose of emoluments and salaries and all of the entitlements. Is minuted to various ministries and departments from the office of the SGF. And these are internal memos. They don't come from outside. They come from inside and they go down the line. And you told us that the man forged that. Okay. And you told us that the man secured an office, not at Gariki, not at Wuse, not in Wuse 2, but inside the federal,
not in Nyanya,
not in Nyanya, not somewhere in Gwagwalada, but inside the federal, the soul of the bureaucracy of Nigeria, inside the federal secretary. If you know how difficult it is for even a minister, some ministers were appointed and it took them more than 8 months to find a space. I remember one minister, I don't want to mention name here, that was appointed. I had to continue to operate from his apartment for a long while because it's a new ministry as a minister of state, and there was no space in the federal secretariat. It took more than 8 months before he could secure a place. So ministers spend as much as 4 or 5 months. How did this man automatically, within a space of few weeks, gain entrance to the soul of the bureaucracy of Nigeria, get an office that ministers in the cabinet find difficult
and was even operating from there?
And was operating from there.
Just one second, Eze. If my producer is there, please kindly play me back that clip that Prince Adeniyi was welcoming diplomats and beginning transaction on foreign investment into the country. And why I want to play it back is simple.
Please, when you are putting fake agency in your byline, put inverted commas opening and close.
Okay.
I don't want you people to be saying presidency, probing a fake agency.
Okay.
You put presidency probing a purported
fake agency.
You must put inverted commas because up till now there is nothing to prove that agency is fake. It's the word of the presidency against the word of the man. It's the spirit of fairness. Please.
We must also respect
No. It's not about respect. No. Please, I disagree with you with all due respect.
Okay.
Now you cannot. We are not talking about respect or disrespect because I hold the presidency in the highest esteem. That's why I'm telling you here and now
to protect.
That you must protect the presidency and protect the citizen. The office of the citizen is as high, if not higher, than the office of the president.
But me, as a media person, if I put that in parentheses,
in inverted commas,
yes,
which means that
there's a doubt on
that the fake agency is yet to be pronounced fake by authorities that ought to pronounce it fake, because it is me, the citizen, saying it is not fake. You, the man who has been elected, saying it is fake. These are two citizens. One that is
in office
and one that is out of office. Okay. But you must be two citizens, whether in office or out of office,
treat them equally
until the law provides
otherwise
and then proves that this one is actually the one that is right. Or might must not be right. And for might not to be right, you have to stop this idea of taking whatever.
In other words, we let us close our eyes blind and do justice. Thank you. We're going to defend that. My producer, please kindly play me back that clip. While you are playing me back that clip, let us respect our guests. Let us put that fake in quote. But meanwhile, please play me back that clip.
Very important.
Because let us know.
Very important.
Because you raise an issue.
Yes.
How did he get office?
I was even coming.
I want to show all that he is in fact operating effectively.
While they bring that in, there are some other questions you have to answer. He recruited staff.
You are going to see the staff. That's what I want you to do.
So the point I'm making is that there is a tremendous, fantastic failure. It's dysfunctionality of the presidency, dysfunctionality of the government we elected, dysfunctionality of all the apparatus of government. For this man to have invented an agency, forged his own appointment,
got an office,
recruit staff, and then these staffs were drawn from different ministries, and
including the office of the accountant
directors were appointed. And now he is able to correspond with government institutions, write letters and get replies. No background.
Okay, thank you very much. Please let us have that clip. My producer, if you're ready with it, please let's have the clip.
The other one, we have to bring in foreign intervention, foreign investors like you now to come and invest in Nigeria. Go out.
Dr. Ezechikamnayo, you know why I play back that clip? It is to show us that, one, you could see his Nigerian staff receiving those diplomats with him. Two, he's operating at the highest diplomatic level. Three, he is processing foreign investment into the country.
Even organized functions where ministers attended, the EFCC ZA attended, as I saw in the pictures, or maybe course to major people across the government. Let me tell you something.
No, let me, you know what? Please allow me to take the government narrative that he's a con fellow. How he was able to con the federal government
I don't want
comprehensively.
you to be playing this devil's advocate. I don't want you to be sounding like an apologist of the Tinubu administration. I know you very well. I know you won't be an apologist of people who...
I'm using the facts available to
which
me.
facts? These are fictional and delusional and very insulting way of dealing with citizens. You can't tell me that we are all morons. We are not daft. We have all been in government. Tinubu is not the first president Nigeria has produced. Neither is Femi Gbajabiamila or Akume or any of these people going to be the first to have been in their place. Even during the military era, where a lot of things are done by fiat and arbitrariness, you cannot have this kind of scandal. How much more in a democratic system where you are supposed to have checks and balances? There are people in the National Assembly whose duty it is to scrutinize budgets, to look at the books, to invite agencies. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is the judiciary, a judicial panel of inquiry that is isolated from the influence of the presidency, at least reasonably so, that ought to be probing Gbajabiamila, Akume, the CBN governor, the people in the budget office, and all of the individuals that have been mentioned by this man. That man is a citizen of Nigeria, and he remains innocent until he is found guilty. He's as innocent as at now as Gbajabiamila, until the law proves otherwise. But as we are trying to walk up to that point, all of this harassment and all of this intimidation and all of this use of government apparatus to push the man to the brink, to break the man as it were, ought not to be. It's our duty as citizens to say, Mr. President, stop shielding, as it were, your people. Suspend them. Okay, let me ask you a question. When the minister, former minister of, I think it was humanitarian affairs or so,
yes,
was asked to leave, and investigation was started by the presidency.
Yes.
Were those people allowed to be in office?
No.
Okay, when Naji, the former minister of science and technology, was accused of something that is more or less has to do with his personal certificates and all of that qualification, was he allowed to stay?
No.
So why are you making a sacred cow out of Gbajabiamila, out of Akume, out of all the people that ought to be in their house, driving to the judicial panel of inquiry, clearing their name and that of the government in such a scandal that is threatening the credibility of the government, the credibility of the entire Nigerian
financial system, financial process.
The soul of this country has been called into question. And you are telling me that the people who have been mentioned ought to stay in their office and conduct business as usual, as if not, and conclude that this man is fake, and we agree with them that it's fake just because they said it's fake. When did the word of the presidency become law? The word of the presidency, the word of Bayo Nanoga, the word of Gbajabiamila, the word of Akume is not the law of Nigeria. They are citizens. They have no more rights than the other man who is now being brought into some form of question. It's their word against his. And the only institution that can find out is the judicial panel of inquiry, not an agency of the presidency like the ICPs.
Now, somebody even says to me that for ICPC to be called to step in is an admission by the process that Adeyemi is a civil servant.
Yes, because ICPC is supposed to probe, corruption that takes place within the institutions of state. But if you are saying that the man
is an external
person, so why are you bringing him before ICPC? I agree, 100%.
Okay, but there's something quite interesting that has also developed, if I may tell you that, and that is that apart from the arrest of Prince Adeyemi's father, there are those who, Badabia Miller himself has threatened a 10 billion naira lawsuit against Adeyemi.
Putting the cart before the horse.
I'm going to ask you that question.
Why will he be rushing to?
What is he rushing to court for?
To court for when he is not yet
subjected? Has it been established that indeed that this was a fraud?
You see, the issue
or is it the person exonerating himself and heading to court?
That his haste is suspicious. That his haste is actually an indication that all is not well. Because what document are you taking to court? Is it not supposed to be the outcome of the panel that have exonerated you, that you are going to now attach and say, this man called me a thief? And the government has investigated through a judicial panel of inquiry. A dispassionate and impartial process has proven that I'm not a thief. On account of this well-established fact, I'm not asking for some form of reprieve. How would he now tell us that you are saying, I'm not a thief, when you are sitting there on behalf of Nigerians and your reputation and character has been called into question? The office you occupy has been brought into question, and you have not faced any form of impartial investigation. Because this is not something that could be handled administratively. There are two types of panel: administrative panel and judicial panel. An administrative panel is more like an internal situation. And it's actually after that administrative panel has submitted their report that the government will now refer the individuals to ICPC based on the report of the administrative panel. Assuming they are government employees and appointees, the president will set up an administrative panel. The outcome of the administrative panel, the president will wrap it and send to ICPC and say, now this is the panel we have done internally. This is the finding we have done. This is after our self-search. This is what we found. But to give it the instrument of the law, go ahead and use this document and investigate this man.
Investigate and
prosecute him. No administrative panel has been set up. No judicial, because in this case, it's not an administrative panel because a lot of things that has to do with criminality, forgery, and the rest is involved. We now go to judicial panel. And it's after that judicial panel has brought out their report, and with that report, that the government will now hand the man over to the police for prosecution. So why jumping the gun? Why the haste? Why are they trying to do this? And they think we're all daft. They think
apart from thinking that we're
all daft. They have, Nigerians have become benumbed. It's only in this country that citizen, the office of the citizen is held in
utter contempt.
Utter contempt and treated with levity. Okay, now let's look at it this way. This man says, you brought me into this system. You facilitated me and my capacity. I'm an outsider. Without your involvement as a top official of government, there's no way I would have entered the federal secretariat. There's no way I would have done this. I actually gave you 400 million.
I'm coming to that.
And you collected that money and demanded for about 200 more. And
no, it was even going to give him 200 more. That's agreed.
Yes.
The issue now was the money to be released for the takeoff.
Yes, and you wanted 40-something% of it. And it was at that point when we
these were his allegations.
I said, this is the allegation. I agree with you. No, look, This is a case of two fighting. This man is saying, I gave you money, you took my money. We have to find out, did you give him this money in dollar? Through who? Or you gave him cash? Was it transmitted electronically? Through who?
There should be trails.
There must be trails. Even though the go-between has been eliminated. Yes, but there are other ways of a dispassionate agency like the SSS, the DSS. They have other ways of unraveling all of that. You have not called in the DSS to investigate. You have not called in the judicial panel of inquiry. You are not telling us this, ICPC, or make una try. This is not right.
Dr. Kanayo, just 1 second. Let us listen to Badaba Miller that all this was fake. How did the fakery break into the budget process and find allocation? Nobody, neither Badaba nor Prince Adeyemi, is contradicting that this, quote again, let me borrow, fake agency had an allocation in the budget. How did the fakery break into the budgeting cycle?
Listen, these people know what they are doing. I've been commissioner. I've been in office. Not once, not twice. And I've been commissioner once, civil service commission. I know how you get government employees to go to one place or the other in terms of posting and all of that. Now, let me ask you. Before an agency is able to receive any form of cooperation from the office of the accountant general, either of a state or federation, the gazette creating that agency must be attached in its initial correspondence to the office of the accountant general. I cannot just go to the accountant general and say, I'm an agent. The accountant general will want you to attach the gazette
that created
you. There must be a legal backing, well established and formally communicated to the office of the accountant general before they can post their staff, their valuable staff to you. So directors of finance for the agency may have inadvertently or directly led to this scandalous situation that is costing us, that is stabbing at the heart of our international acceptance and credibility. All of them ought to be asked to step aside and a judicial panel of inquiry established. And after that inquiry, before you now talk about prosecution either by any of the established agencies whose it is to do. But right now, they are putting the cart before the horse. All in an attempt, okay, you people, like last time when I was in a sister television station, I gave my organization, my party, NDC, said we need the president to act within 7 days. The action we wanted was ask all of these principal officers to step aside, set up a judicial panel of inquiry. Yes, the president has acted within the time frame of 7 days. But what did he do? He tried to paper over the issues. He tried to, okay, if people want me to act, I have done something, let us continue. The next day, as he's acting on that, by telling ICP, so yeah, you people go and look at what is happening. He is impaneling Bajabi Amila to look at issues, very important issues like the issue of establishment of state police. You cannot approbate and reprobate at the same time. Your man cannot be facing an investigation at the same time heading very critical functions of government. That is why he ought to step aside. Caesar's wife must not just live above board. Caesar's wife must be seen to live above board. So the president must not be seen to be probing this. He must be seen to be probing it in a manner that puts credibility even in the probe. Because right now, the efforts of the president, they also smack of lack of credibility. That's where we are. And we are still insisting that until Mr. President Tinubu sets up a judicial panel of inquiry and subjects all of the people who are supposed to have been the gatekeepers. They are supposed to be gatekeepers of our collective good. But Jabir Miller is supposed to be the gatekeeper there at the presidency. Akume is supposed to be the gatekeeper of the bureaucracy. The Accountant General is supposed to be the gatekeeper of our common patrimony. And the budget office is supposed to be the gatekeepers that ensure that allocations are properly done. All of these people have failed in their duty of gatekeeping, either by omission or commission. And they ought to step aside. Listen, if your security man here was sleeping or is said to be sleeping, and the man at the estate gate is sleeping or is said to be sleeping, and a lot of the people whose duty at one point or the other is supposed to protect the people in this whole estate, in this whole area of the town, and a great criminal act takes place, the first thing you do is to pick each one of them at their different posts and push them to the relevant places for investigation.
Not for them to remain
it's
there.
not for them to remain security man. The person whose life they are supposed to protect has died. The properties they are supposed to protect has been stolen. And then you keep them in their duty post and then ask them to be writing essay to ICPC and going back to home as if nothing happened. So on what basis were you then subjecting your ministers, members of your cabinet sworn in, to treatments that you are now finding it difficult to apply
to these
people? That means here in this government of President Tinubu, some people are sacred cows, others are scapegoats. And that's not what we actually want.
You know, while we were speaking,
in a government that is
while we were speaking, I removed my glasses because you raised a scare for me.
Yes.
If this kind of situation could arise in financial administration, once upon a time in this country, somebody established a police station, had a DP in that police station, had armed policemen in that station, and that station was a fake police station, arresting people and detaining and granting bail and all that. If this level of scandal has taken place, how safe is our security system? If somebody can establish an office in the National Secretariat and get that office to be allocated in a budget and get that office to have directors in that, government calls it fake.
And organize events.
And organize events attended by ministers.
Engage in correspondence with foreign institutions.
I have a worry
and
about
the president
national security.
The president is talking about ICPC. I mean, what
is this something?
What is the role of ICPC when the matter is yet to be forensically, thoroughly investigated in such a manner that nobody who is supposed to be a gatekeeper, because this is a scandal that meandered through different corridors of power, right from the presidency, chief of staff, secretary to government of the federation, accountant general, governor of CBN, and down the line. So when this volcanic eruption took place with the vortex purportedly in the presidency, as alleged by them, and then meander down the slope, there are people whose duty it was to have arrested the flow. Why did they allow it? Could it be because they saw where it was cascading down from? If they did allow it, when they ought not to allow it, thereby exposing the country to a lot of ridicule, disrepute, why are all these people not being rounded up, suspended, told to step aside? Why is it now difficult to set up a judicial panel of inquiry? Why is it difficult to ask them to step aside? That is the major mystery every Nigerian is asking. Why is Femi Gbajabiamila still in office? Why is Akume still in office? Why is the Accountant General still in office? These are gatekeepers of our common interest, our common good, our common patrimony. And this man has alleged that there's a breach. And he has evidence to show. Where do we ask him to go and show that evidence? We say go to ICPC. Is he an official or institution of government? You say it's fake. So there ought to be a judicial panel, because these people cannot be driving with their convoy to ICPC while the man is coming in chains to ICPC. It is not fair. That man occupies a very high office, the office of the citizen. The only difference between him and the other individuals that are being alleged of committing one offense or the other is the fact that they are sitting in the office of the president or in the office provided by Nigerians. They are not more Nigerian than the man, citizen Adeyemi. They are not more Nigerian than him. So they ought to be subjected to exactly the same treatment. If you are arresting Adeyemi, arrest the other people too. If I come to the police station and then I said, I have people who are my accomplices in a crime, the first thing the police say, make a statement. As I mentioned the name of those purported or alleged accomplices, the police will round them up and bring them to the same station and have them write their own statements. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They will not be.
In the last public outing of Adeyemi, he raised the alarm that his life was under threat.
And what will you take instead of protecting him?
I was coming
because you're supposed to protect him, because already there's an antecedent, an unsavory antecedent that has led to the death of a citizen who may or may not be guilty as alleged, whose only offense may have been take this from spot A to spot B, and he obeyed certain powers that be, and now he has been eliminated. So that is enough for government to immediately put enough security around Adeyemi, not to keep him behind closed doors, then take his father in. And let me tell you, you must realize that these antecedents are very dangerous. They are very dangerous. That's why President Tinubu ought to act firmly and fast, not belatedly as he has done, and then peppering over the issue. This is not yet ICPC business. This is a business of the president causing an independent judicial panel of inquiry to be set up and rounding up all of the people whose names have been mentioned in this great scandal to go before this independent investigation and clear their names. Nobody is saying they are guilty, but we are saying protect that sacred office of the presidency, because that is the sacred office, the highest office of the land. So once that finger is pointing in that direction,
that's a big problem.
Tell him, okay, Mr. Man, no problem, but please step aside. Go and clear your name. Come back if you do. If you don't, press the music. That's what ought to be done.
Now, in that clip we played back, I saw the diplomats, and I'm sure that some of these diplomats, some of those who attended events with me and ministers and all that, hearing what is transpiring now, that the Nigerian government is saying that they were being courted to come and invest in Nigeria by a con agency. What kind of image, what kind of impression does this whole thing create for Nigeria's image in the diplomatic circle, international investor circle?
If allegations and controversies were enough for Mr. President, His Excellency Tinubu, to have removed ministers and asked them to step aside, the question is, why has Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, who has repeatedly brought several cases of controversies, still being left as a sacred cow? Why is the secretary to federal government, whose duty is to scrutinize such appointment letters before allocating office in the federal secretariat? Federal secretariat, for heaven's sake, not in Wuse Market. Why is he still in office? Why is the man, Accountant General of the Federation, whose duty is to scrutinize and bring to the fore the requirements, lay down requirements before you can cooperate with any agency? That agency must provide evidence of its legitimacy.
Now, who gave a code? Who gave a budget code to this agency that was recognized by the budget office of the Federation?
Who ought to supervise the code? Whose office is supposed? Is it not the budget office? That budget office, whoever is in charge of it, ought to be stepping aside. That's what I'm saying. There's a litany.
Yeah, because it's what I'm trying to get at.
It's not just about Bajabi Amila.
No.
It's about accountability.
I'm worried about fakeness.
It's not about Bajabi Amila.
It's about a
so
system.
that people don't misunderstand what we're saying. We have no business, personal business with Bajabi Amila. I have nothing against him. I've not met him. I've not had any business to do with Bajabi Amila. And I don't think our paths have crossed in any way. So what I'm talking about is accountability. Accountability, that we ought to have the same standard for every citizen of Nigeria, whether in or out of office. The time when people use their position in government to shut up, eliminate, or harass, intimidate citizens ought to be passed. And remember, what is good for the goose ought to be good for the gander, which means that if you are saying, close this agency, and the man is saying, I'm supposed to be here, I was aided and abetted to be here. You are saying, leave this place, you are illegal. And the man is saying, you, Njoko, brought me to the studio. If you want to ask me out of this studio, you have to ask me, who brought you here? How did you cross the gates? How did you enter the reception? Who ushered you into the studio? If you want to punish, you don't just take me and yank me to cell. As you are trying to yank me to cell for breaching your security and coming all the way to the studio to make a broadcast, you are asking the security man whose duty it is to have taken my name at the gate.
Who set up the studio for
and you know who the receptionist at the foyer, the people in there are different gradations of offices that I must pass through before I enter this studio. This studio is not a public space. People don't just walk into your studio and start broadcasting. Broadcasting. So if there's a breach and somebody enters here and start broadcasting, yes, you will get that person apprehended. But more importantly,
those who facilitated
either through omission or commission, negligence or collusion, my coming in here. That's why when there is a coup, there are people who are saying they are accessories to the coup. There are people who are not active participants in the coup, but who are rounded up because they are supposed to have reported. If they heard something, they were supposed to have said something. By keeping quiet, they are rounded up and given almost the same treatment with those who participated in the coup. So how can you tell me that this man who you are telling us from the presidency, you are busy dishing out, is fake, is fake, is fake? What makes him fake? What makes that man fake? If he could enter the federal secretariat and set up an office. What makes him fake? If he could have an appointment letter that is not vetted, and yet that appointment letter saw him receiving salaries. Are you aware that all the workers, over 300 Nigerians deployed to that agency,
were being
paid with taxpayers' money to carry out what function? This is a scandal of monumental proportion. And the president must, he has no alternative than to live up to his bidding. The president is somebody that is respected. His office is exalted. He must live to the bidding of that office by dispassionately dealing with Bajabi Amila, Akume, whoever is down the line, the accountant general, the budget office. All of them ought to be matched into a judicial panel to go and clear their name one after the other. Down the line, heads must roll so that the credibility of this nation can have a semblance of recovery. Papering over the issue is complicating the matter and making us look like fools before the international community. Because if this could happen, which other institution of government, whether real or fake,
is sacred,
can now write a letter to anybody outside this country and the person will take it seriously? So So it's not just about the individual that is involved. The so-called, is it Adeni or Adeyemi? I don't know him. I don't need to know him. All I am saying is that it's not about the man. It's not about Bajabiamila. It's about accountability. It's about our sacred institution. It's about our presidency. It is about our systems that has now been proven to be dysfunctional. Those who have made our system to be proven to be dysfunctional must face the music.
Those who have made our systems to be dysfunctional should pay. The president has no alternative. He must act, not the way he has acted, but he must institute an independent judicial panel of inquiry so that everybody is treated, not considering your powers and your position, but equally before the law. That is the submission of Dr. Ezechikam Nayo. He's a chieftain of the NDC. He's a lawyer and two-time commissioner in Abia State. He's been my guest in the past 56 minutes. Dr. Nayo, thank you very much for coming to me.
Are you sure it's two-time? More than thrice.
More than thrice.
From 1990 now.
That's great. So you've been there in the public space.
Like Americans will say, I've been there, done that. That's why I'm outraged. I'm outraged. And every Nigerian ought to be outraged at this infantile attempt to pull the wool over our eyes. It's outrageous in itself that our president is not treating this matter with the level of seriousness it deserves. Very shocking, really, because President Tinubu is somebody I personally hold in high esteem. I expect him to know better, and I know he knows better. And I want to call on him to do better than what he's doing at the moment.
Please, Mr. President, he says, do better than you are doing at present. That's a request from a citizen. And on that note, let us thank him for coming to the program. Let us thank you also for investing your time with us this morning. My name is Mwaboz Njoku. The program continues day after day. Let's meet tomorrow. Good morning.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
New every morning on Signature TV, we open the day for you with needed energy, information, and required vibes to shape your day. From sizzling snippets of stories in various areas of life to intriguing conversations with net worth guests.
When you have people who have no track record becoming your leaders, you have a problem.
There is no outstanding gratuity when Obi took over from me. I left in all the accounts of Anambra State 13.8 billion for him.
Your day cannot be complete without Signature Morning on weekdays and Signature New Day on weekends. There is no better way to start your day except Signature Morning and Signature New Day every day on Signature TV.
Health is more than a diagnosis. It's your lifestyle, your choices, and your future. Join us on Inside Health, your weekly deep dive into the stories, science, and solutions shaping your well-being. From expert interviews to real-life journeys of healing and hope, we cover it all.
One of the complications of cancer management or treatment is they have some of them, at one point in time, you see them having anemia. Okay, so you see them at times being transfused. But at the same time, you come in with a diet.
Nutrition, mental health, innovations in medicine, fitness, and everyday wellness. Whether you're managing a condition, staying informed, or just living your best life, Inside Health is your trusted guide.
I'm Tigiti Agorum, and I'll be with you every week on Inside Health, only on Signature TV.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.
In the headlines, Tinubu urges healthcare professionals in diaspora to return. Former head of state Abdul Salami Abubakar urges INEC to ensure absolute impartiality and a level playing field in the 2027 general elections. BS for the 8-day absence reignites debate over power vacuum in Cameroon. And more than 200,000 people flee as wildfires tear through France and Spain. Details in a moment.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking, events occur, and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Signature TV. News in your pocket.
President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerian medical doctors and other healthcare professionals in diaspora to return home and lend their expertise to the ongoing transformation of the nation's healthcare sector. Tinubu made a call when he received a delegation of Nigerian diaspora medical associations worldwide and the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, as part of the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebration at the State House, Abuja. According to Tinubu, Nigeria needs the knowledge, innovation, experience, and patriotism of its highly skilled professionals abroad to build a resilient and world-class healthcare system for all citizens. He recounted how they came to Nigeria after experiences with Deloitte and Torche and working with Mobile, and eventually came to Nigeria to contribute his quota to nation building. He stated that his administration places healthcare at the center of national development. The president commended the doctors for their unwavering commitment to humanity through their recent medical outreach programs conducted across different parts of the country, including the Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, and other regions. Earlier, Dabiri Erewa expressed the commitment of the visiting healthcare professionals to deploy their expertise and contribute their quota to the renewed Hope National Healthcare Delivery Master Plan, as demonstrated in different parts of the country during the recent medical outreaches. The Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isiaq Salako, said the commitment of diaspora medical professionals had further validated the power and the reach of renewed hope agenda in the health sector. The Federal High Court, sitting in Lagos, has granted the request of a National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to dismantle a clandestine laboratory allegedly used for the production of methamphetamine, a psychotropic substance. Justice Musa Kakaki ordered the dismantling of the laboratory and destruction of some of the chemicals recovered from the 3 Mexican nationals and 7 Nigerians at a laboratory located at Iloti village and in Abidagba Forest, Ijebu East local government area of Ogun State.
The ruling comes 2 days after parties in the case visited the remote forest at a request by the NDLEA through the deputy commander with the NDLEA, Buhari Abdullahi, who told the court that the application was filed in the interest of public health, safety, and the protection of agency officials who have been stationed at the site for more than 2 months. Buhari reminded the court that the judge and parties had personally inspected the clandestine drug lab, whose environment was so hazardous that anyone entering the premises had to wear face masks and specialized protective equipment. He recalled that he suffered an allergic reaction while arguing that application for the dismantling of the lab was consistent with the NDLEA statutory mandate to take steps towards the destruction of dangerous drugs, chemicals, and related substances. The court adjourned the matter to October 26, 27, and 28 to rule on the nature of the contested substances and for continuation of trial. The case stems from the arraignment of 3 Mexican nationals and 7 other suspects over the alleged operation of a clandestine methamphetamine laboratory with drugs and precursor chemicals valued at 480 billion naira. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, has directed personnel across the country to deal decisively with those bearing illegal firearms. Disu, who gave the order at a town hall meeting held with Governor Hyacinth Alia in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, urged the personnel to end the loss of service personnel when they encounter criminals to ensure peace is restored in Benue. The IGP, whose visits stem from a spate of killings across the state, listened to participants who raised key points about the motive of the Benue attacks, questioning why the police failed to arrest security threats where intelligence are made available. This would task youths in the state to work with the police on intelligence gathering against all forms of criminality, as the police will deal with criminals irrespective of their demography. Governor Alia called for the implementation of state police to help the conventional police deal with insecurity, just as the Tortiv pledged full support to any strategy that will end the killings. The meeting was attended by security chiefs from the Nigerian police and sister agencies. The Enugu State Police Command says it has arrested 4 police officers seen in a viral video making unprofessional and ethnically insensitive remarks to motorists during a roadside stop on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In the viral video, one of the officers appeared to solicit a bribe from a motorist and made an ethnic remark after the driver refused to pay, with the officer seen repeatedly asking the motorist to leave the scene without stating any traffic offense. During the exchange, the officer said he had seen that he was very close to the driver and that he would have asked him to park if it was an Igbo person or another person. Speaking to journalists, and Akure police spokesperson in Ondo State, Abayomi Jimo, said the officers involved had been taken into custody while a full investigation had commenced. Jimo said the probe followed a directive by the State Commissioner of Police, Felix Oagu, to determine the level of culpability of the officers and ensure appropriate disciplinary action where necessary. The officers identified in the video were Elemore Sadoya, Adefila Adewale, Olu Ramfemi Okmayemi, and Odusola Peter, all inspectors. Enugu State Governor Peter Mba has backed the ongoing investigation into Thursday's runway incident involving the state-owned airline, Enugu Air. In a statement he personally signed, Mba commended aviation authorities for swiftly launching a probe into the incident and assured the public of the state's full cooperation with investigators. He also expressed sympathy with the 63 passengers and 5 crew members on board the aircraft after a traumatic experience and expressed thanks to God that no life was lost in the incident. Mba also thanked Nigerians for their support following the incident, noting that many people had continued to express other positive experiences concerned with the airline. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau on Thursday said it has commenced an investigation into the runway excursion involving an Enugu Air Embraer E-170 aircraft at Benin Airport. It also confirmed that all passengers and crew had been accounted for while no injuries have been reported. The chairman of ENUGU Air, Richard Agu Olia, clarified that the ENUGU aircraft involved in a runway excursion at Benin Airport on Thursday did not crash land. The incident, which prompted an emergency response after the aircraft veered off the runway following a safe landing, is currently under investigation. Agu made a clarification during an interview on Signature TV's Breakfast Show on Friday. He assured the public that the safety of passengers, crew and flight operations remains the airline's highest priority, adding that ENUGU Air is cooperating fully with the relevant aviation authorities as investigations into the incidents continue.
The aircraft did not crash. It was not a crash landing. Everybody is saying crash landing. There was no crash landing. The aircraft has landed, and in airline terminology, what happened is called runway excursion. Like excursion that you go with school children to visit. So it's a technical term for it is runway excursion, which is an incident where an aircraft veers off or overruns the paved, the tarmac, the paved tarmac, which is also why the places outside the tarmac are always grassed, because it is an incident that has great possibility in the industry.
So, Mr. Richard,
urged the public to rely only on verified information and assured passengers of its commitment to maintaining the highest safety standards. Nigeria's former head of state and chairman of the National Peace Committee, retired General Abdul Salami Abubakar, has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure absolute impartiality and provide a level playing field for all political parties in the 2027 general elections. Abdul Salami gave the charge when INEC chairman Joash Amopita, accompanied by the Commission's national commissioners, paid him a courtesy visit at his residence in Minna, Niger State. The former head of state urged the Commission to ensure that all elections are free, fair and credible, stressing that the success of Nigeria's democracy depends largely on the integrity of the electoral process. Advised the INEC chairman and his team to remain steadfast, ignore distractions, and faithfully uphold the oath of office they swore through. Describing the office of the INEC chairman as one of the most demanding in the country's democratic architecture, Abdul Salami said Amopita's appointment came at a critical period in Nigeria's democratic journey. Abdul Salami also disclosed that the National Peace Committee would hold a strategic meeting in Abuja on July 29, ahead of the signing of a peace accord for the Osun State governorship election scheduled for July 30. He described the Osun governorship poll as an important test for the 2027 general election and reaffirmed the committee's commitment to promoting peaceful, transparent, and credible elections across the country. The INEC assured Nigerians of free, fair, and credible elections in 2027, despite operational and legal challenges confronting the electoral process, and assured of the Commission's commitment to ensuring that every valid vote counts in both the August 15 Osun State governorship election and the 2027 general election. They have lamented what he described as a weak democratic culture among some political actors, noting that last-minute court orders often compel the Commission to alter its preparations. The Senate has resolved to enforce its rules against ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government that failed to honor invitations to appear before its committees for oversight and budget performance reviews. The resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Sani Musa, about what lawmakers described as a persistent refusal of several government agencies to appear before the Senate committees to defend their budgets and accounts for public funds. Musa expressed concern over the growing disregard for legislative oversight by some agencies, warning that the trend undermines accountability and transparency in public administration.
Also note that Order 97 of the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended empowers standing committees of the Senate to carry out oversight over ministries, departments and agencies and government-owned enterprises within their respective jurisdictions in furtherance of the constitutional mandate of the Senate, or furnish the information requested. In blatant disregard of the oversight powers vested in the National Assembly by the Constitution, this persistent non-compliance constitutes a direct affront to the constitutional authority of the Senate, undermines the doctrine of separation of powers and checks and balances, weakens legislative oversight, and erodes transparency and accountability in the management of.
The motion, Senator Abdul Ningi said the Senate can no longer continue pleading with government agencies to perform what he described as a constitutional obligation, but Adams Oshomole maintained that the repeated failure of some agencies to appear before lawmakers rests squarely with the heads of the defaulting institutions.
This parliament is not an arm of government. It's not an arm of the executive. This parliament is not a department of the executive. Mr. President, legislatures are not ministers. Legislatures are elected like every other person elected. However, because this motion is rich enough, let me say there are very serious steps. First of all, the committee has reported this infraction. The House can say, give the committee a final warning to now request the presence of these organizations. If that does not work, the committee will now write not to the President of the Senate, not the President of the Senate writing, the legislature, as we are now, we can now write to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, informing him.
Mr. President, with your permission, the first point I want to make is that in discussing this matter, we must separate the President and Commander-in-Chief as the head of the executive from the failure or misbehavior or misdemeanor of MDAs. There is no evidence before the Senate or before any of the committees that they had instruction from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu not to appear. Therefore, in talking about the executive, we should be very clear that this executive does not mean the head of the executive section. But I do, of course, understand that all MDAs are under the executive. There may be some of our agents in the Senate who might take some actions or behave in a manner that did not receive your approval. But that does not mean that is the Senate position. So that said, that this is not about the President. It is about the MDAs, and we should be so specific.
Return to the debate, Senate President Godswill Akpabio acknowledged the concerns raised by lawmakers, but Sani Musa is committed to ensure compliance.
Senator Baribe, I was saying, now you see, now you know. He just joined us, but he has read the rules, he has read the Constitution. You see the difference? Because clearly speaking, we cannot lament. We can't lament. We have the powers from the ground norm that rules the country, and that is the Nigerian Constitution. Senator Olaka, am I right? So by mentioning Senator Section 89 and trying to remind us of our powers, he's saying we shouldn't be discussing this issue, that we should exercise, we should act, and go into other issues. It is a no issue. It is a no issue. If
Senator Baribe. Senator Baribe.
Following extensive deliberations, the Senate resolved to call on the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, and all ministers to ensure that agencies under their supervision promptly honor invitations from the National Assembly. The lawmakers further resolved that any ministry, department, or agency that deliberately refuses to appear before the Senate committees or obstructs legislative oversight would henceforth face sanctions under the 1999 Constitution, the Legislative Houses Act, Fiscal Responsibility Act, and the Senate Standing Orders. Innovation rooted in a familiar beauty business has earned Nigerian-American engineer and Harvard graduate Yinka Ogumbi global recognition for developing halo braid designed to reduce the physical strain on hairstylists while significantly cutting the time required for braiding. The U.S. mission in Nigeria, which commended Ogumbi for the feat, said innovation has already raised $7 million in seed funding and attracted more than 7,000 professional salons to its waiting list. The mission, while describing the invention as the world's first braid assist robot with a global impact, highlighted halo braid's growing commercial interest and potential to transform professional hairstyling. According to reports, halo braid secured funding through a seed round led by 776, the venture capital firm founded by Reddit co-founder Alexis Honania, with additional investment from Alicop and Blink Capital. The funding is expected to support the product's market rollout. Ogumbi holds a joint Master of Science and Master of Business Administration degree from the Harvard Engineering School and Harvard Business School. Before developing halo braid, she built a career designing smart home appliances. Still to come, Pakistan's suicide bombing leaves 15 dead, including 12 soldiers. Iran-backed Houthis claim missile attack on Saudi Arabia. Stay with us.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
The lengthy absence of Cameroon's long-serving president, Paul Biya, who has been in Switzerland since early June, has reignited debate about government's inaction in a country where many crave change. As of Saturday, it will be 48 days since the 93-year-old Biya, who has been in power for more than 40 years and is the world's oldest head of state, left Cameroon. An official statement said it departed June 7 for a short private stay in Europe with his wife, Chantal Biya. The president, who has made frequent trips to Geneva over the years, has faced waves of speculation, rumors regarding his health, which at times have been denied by the government. Responding to articles in the press, Communication Minister René Emmanuel Sadi issued a statement on June 18, denying that Biya had been hospitalized in a Geneva clinic. Earlier this month, the president of the Cameroon Democratic Union, Patricia Tomaino Ndam Njoya, called on the government to establish an impartial procedure for determining the temporary or permanent incapacity of a head of state. Allegations of a power vacuum in Cameroon are nothing new, as the last time was in late 2024, when Biya spent around 50 days outside the country, with the opposition's Social Democratic Front Party saying that the country was on autopilot. Cameroonian authorities have initiated some institutional change, replacing the presidents of both chambers of parliament in March on his presidential post via constitutional reform in May. More than 200,000 people have fled their homes as massive wildfires swept across southwestern France and central Spain, forcing large-scale evacuations and leaving emergency services struggling to contain the fast-moving blazes. Authorities said about 141,000 people were evacuated from the Gironde and Landes departments in France, while another 60,000 were forced to leave their homes in central Spain as fires spread rapidly through forests and nearby communities. Firefighters in both countries were overwhelmed by the intensity of the fires, fueled by high temperatures and the long-term effects of climate change. Spanish firefighters said the flames spread so quickly and violently that they could not be fought directly, while in France, some residents escaped by boat after fire engulfed the tourist area along the Atlantic coast. Although dozens of firefighters were injured, authorities reported no deaths in either country. Residents fled by car as police went door to door, urging people to leave while thick smoke rose above surrounding woodlands. France Interior Minister Laurent Nunez said the wildfire in southwestern France was moving towards Bordeaux after consuming about 140 square kilometers of land. French President Emmanuel Macron directed Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu to activate the government's crisis response unit and order the armed forces to provide maximum support to civilian emergency services. At least 15 people, including 12 soldiers, have been killed in a suicide bombing in northwestern Pakistan. Authorities said investigations are ongoing to establish circumstances surrounding the explosion and identify those responsible. The military did not immediately disclose further details about the location of the bombing or the group behind the attack. Northwestern Pakistan has experienced repeated militant attacks in recent years, with armed groups frequently targeting security forces and civilians in the regions. Officials said more information will be released as security agencies continue the investigation into the deadly incident. At least 15 people have been killed in Russian attacks on Ukraine, including 10 dead in ballistic missile strikes on an exhibition near Kiev showcasing drone technology. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said some 100 people have been injured in the daytime attack on the exhibition attended by prominent members of the defense sector. 5 people were also killed by Russian glide bombs in the eastern city of Sloviansk early on Saturday. Military officials confirmed the deaths of 2 men in the northern city of Sumy. On Friday evening, Zelensky said he had received intelligence Russia was preparing another massive missile strike, which could happen within the next 48 hours. A Ukrainian strike on Friday killed 6 people and wounded 26 in the Russian city of Kirov, more than 1,000 kilometers behind the front line. Russia confirmed the attack, with the Defense Ministry saying that high-precision long-range weaponry had been used on a site where drones for use in targeting civil sites in Russia were being demonstrated. President Zelensky said the incident was being investigated, while Ukraine's prosecutor general said efforts were underway to establish who decided to hold the event and what safety measures were in place. Romania said on Saturday that it had shot down a second drone breaching national airspace in many days over a sparsely populated area near the border with Ukraine. The first drone, which Romanian prosecutors investigating fragments said was Russian, was shot down by the NATO state on Friday, the first time it has done so after dozens of airspace breaches. President Nicolae Dan took to social media to say that the second drone had been shot down at 8:30 a.m., 10 kilometers west of Stantugange in the Danube Delta. The Defense Ministry said the airspace breach had been spotted by radar at 8:22 a.m. and 2 F-16 fighter jets had been scrambled but did not specify the origin of Saturday's drone. Romania, which shares land border with Ukraine and Russia, and drones had breached its, Russian drones had breached its airspace around 30 times since Moscow began attacking Ukrainian ports across the Danube River after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The Iranian Now let's turn our attention to sports. Esther Morgu secured Nigeria's first gold medal of the 2026 Commonwealth Games with a commanding performance in the women's lightweight powerlifting event. Morgu produced a best lifting of 123 kilograms, earning 119 points to claim the gold medal and hand Nigeria its first title of the Games. A victory capped a dominant outing by the country's powerlifting team, with compatriot Esther Onyema taking the silver medal after registering a best lift of 125 kg to finish with 115.5 points. England's Olivia Brome settled for bronze after lifting 119 kg to score 106.6 points. Ungugu had also set 2 Commonwealth Games records, underlining our dominance in confirming her status as one of a standout performance in Glasgow. The result reinforced Nigeria's long-standing pedigree in para-power lifting, one of the nation's most successful sports at major international competitions. 41-year-old Folashade Oluwafemiayo also defended a para-power lifting women's heavyweight title at the Games after lifting an incredible 175 kilograms to break her own world record, which she had set at the 2025 World Para-Power Lifting Championship. Rita Ferdinand clinched a silver medal, lifting 158 kilograms, which improved her total points to 128.2 to finish above Australia's Hani Watson. Earlier, Roland Izurike had missed out on the gold medal in the men's lightweight para-power lifting by decimal points in favor of England's Mark Swan. Team Nigeria has won 5 medals from para-power lifting on the first day of activities at the Games. And that's it on Global News. I am Barry Kumo Ado. Thank you very much for watching.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on eVibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
Outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that. That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hub's on eVibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the Free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV.
Welcome to The Sage, the program where together we journey to uncover the many hidden treasures in our country. I am Dr. Kechi Obuagu, your privileged sage on this journey. Come walk with me. Come discover with me.